Chapter 139. Senior apprentice brother Xiao Qing will be here soon. You killed senior apprentice brother Zhang. Senior apprentice brother Xiao Qing will not let you off. In Ruemu Danqin's heart, Ning Xiao Qing was the most powerful. She had personally seen Ning Xiao Qing clinch the first place in the third round of the Great Meet. If he was not powerful, then how could he achieve this? Since Deacon Lu had entrusted the three of them to senior apprentice brother Xiao Qing, it showed that senior apprentice brother Xiao Qing had the ability to do so. Now that Zhang Shua and Meng Jingxiu's lives were in danger, Ruemu Danqin no longer cared about her own words and whether she would be laughed at or ridiculed by others. Ha! This senior apprentice brother Chu laughed. This father is the Lu Continent's Red Heaven 7-Star Academy's Chu Tongfu, and the one beside me is the Red Heaven Academy's Shang Mao Gao. When you go to the Yin land, remember to call your senior apprentice brother Xiao Qing to come and find your grandpa Chu. Kill your senior brother Zhang. No, grandpa is going to destroy all of you together. In the distance, Qi Ziwen, Meng Yujing, Situ Yu, Ling Naixin, and Yong Gu Yun were all present, but none of them stood up and said a word. Perhaps they knew that if they dared to speak up, they would be implicated as well. Meng Jingxiu desperately glanced at the few people who had come from the Hua continent. She knew that it was impossible for her to count on them. The fickleness of human nature could be seen from this. At that moment, another loud noise rang out from afar. Clearly, another mound had been breached and countless cultivators swarmed forward. This senior apprentice brother Chu no longer cared about killing Zhang Shua and the other two, and followed behind the brown-robed cultivator called Shang Mao Gao, like a bolt of lightning. If you dare to run, then this father will turn around and burn your soul. Before leaving, this true condensation 9th-level cultivator surnamed Chu did not forget to leave behind a few words. He did not even have enough time to take away Meng Jingxiu's storage bag, not to mention killing those three people. There were so many cultivators here. Once the hill was breached, it would immediately cause a commotion. He could kill Meng Jingxiu and the other two at any time, as long as he could grab the spiritual grasses, then it would not be too late to kill them. Meng Jingxiu was just a few low-leveled cultivators, as such she would definitely not have any good things on her body, as such it was more important to grab the spiritual grasses first. I am sorry, senior apprentice brother Zhang, senior apprentice sister Jingxiu, I am not sensible enough to implicate you. Ruemu Danqin had never seen this kind of situation before. At this time she was completely out of her wits. Zhang Shua sighed and said, "It's not your fault, it's our experience. Just look at the people from the Falling Star Academy and the other academies, they are just picking up some spiritual grasses from the back, and simply do not come forward to snatch from the people from the intermediate class continents or the advanced class continents. We don't have a backstage. We should have stayed behind." In addition, Danqin obtained an essence-raising fruit. It would be strange if people didn't covet it. Meng Jingxiu was silent, her face was pale, she was seriously injured. At the same time, she also understood what Zhang Shua meant. The three of them did not have any experience. Usually, in this kind of situation, it was better to quickly give the fruit to the person who asked for it. Only then could they calm down. Of course, with her temper, she wouldn't give her things away like this. As a result, a fight was inevitable. Not only did she fight with him, she even injured him. If only senior apprentice brother Xiao Qing was here. Ruemu Danqin knew that the fate of the three of them was already doomed. As soon as the other party finished snatching the spiritual grasses, the next moment they would come to deal with the three of them. Zhang Shua shook his head and said, "Senior apprentice brother Ning is here to harm him. You did not hear him say that he is from the 7-Star Academy. They definitely have an essence-building master. Even if senior apprentice brother Ning is more powerful, he would not be able to fight against an essence-building master." The three of them knew that there was no way out. Even if they didn't heal their injuries, they remained silent. This kind of thing was very common in this place, so no one came forward to express sympathy for the three of them, or even help them. "There are a few healing pills here, you quickly swallow them, and then immediately leave. I can't help you. At this time, Situyu quickly walked over, and threw a bottle to Ruemu Danchin. After saying a few words, he turned around and walked away. Ruemu Danchin took the bottle and was somewhat stunned, but she quickly reacted, and quickly opened the bottle, and took out 2 pills and put them in Sang Shoa and Meng Jingxiu's mouth. Do we have to go? Ruemu Danchin remembered the words of Situyu a moment ago, and quickly asked. I did not expect that Situyu would actually take out pills. Sang Shoa looked at the departing Situyu and sighed. He then shook his head at Ying and said, there is no need to go, you see that the spiritual grasses have already been snatched. I estimate that the person surnamed Chu will soon come over. We are seriously injured, where can we go? Ning Cheng and Ying did not walk for long. On the 3rd day, the 2 of them once again saw cultivators. But this time the 2 of them did not see 1 or 2 cultivators, rather there were more than tens of thousands of them. When Ning Cheng saw this dense mass of people, he even thought that all the cultivators who had entered the Angry Axe Valley had gathered here. Ning Cheng casually swept out with his spiritual consciousness, and immediately saw a few acquaintances. Che Ziwen, Meng Yujing, Situyu, Ling Naixin and Yong Gu Yun were all there, but Fang Xian and Pu Lisan were not there. Then Ning Cheng saw Sang Shoa, Ruemu Danchin and Meng Jingxiu, but Ning Cheng immediately became furious. Sang Shoa and Meng Jingxiu were seriously injured, only Ruemu Danchin was standing on the side looking after them with red eyes. Meng Jingxiu was covered in blood, her face was incomparably pale, even her arm was almost completely cut off, only a little bit of flesh and skin was holding it together. If she did not receive treatment, then her arm would be equivalent to being crippled. Sang Shoa was extremely dispirited, and was also covered in blood. There were even a few bloody holes on his chest. But the disciples of the other academies in the Hua continent were safe and sound. Even Yong Gu Yun, who was only in the Qi gathering realm, was not injured at all. But Yong Gu Yun was not with the Falling Star Academies Che Ziwen and Meng Yujing, rather she was with another group of people. Ning Cheng did not have the mind to care about this. He quickly arrived in front of the Sang Shoa trio and asked, what happened? Senior apprentice brother Xiao Cheng. Ruemu Danchin saw Ning Cheng come over, and called out to him, and immediately began to cry. When Sang Shoa and Meng Jingxiu saw Ning Cheng, there was a trace of guilt in their eyes. It was obvious that Ning Cheng had arrived, and was also involved in this matter. Ning Cheng quickly said, let's talk about it later, let's first heal up. Saying that, Ning Cheng took out 2 mysterious frost zoishas and said, these are mysterious frost zoishas, 1 for each of you. Wait. A bearded man stepped in front of Ning Cheng and the others. Looking at his appearance, he almost reached out to snatch the mysterious frost zoishas from Ning Cheng's hands. Ning Cheng was incomparably fast. With a wave of his hand, he immediately put away the mysterious frost zoishas, and then coldly stared at the opposite party and said, what's the matter? This bearded man already had the cultivation of late-stage essence-building realm, although Ning Cheng was not afraid of him, but he still had to be careful. I am Dong Guoxiao, a Tier 4 True Pill Master from the Feng Continent's 7 Rainbow Pill sect. I have the True Internal Organs Pill in my hands, which can heal injuries. Although the True Internal Organs Pill is only a level 3 pill, but I'm sure that for the injuries of your 2 friends, the effect would be much better than your mysterious frost zoishas. I will now give you 2, as long as you give me the mysterious frost zoishas in your hands. Although this bearded man's cultivation was a lot higher than Ning Cheng's, but he did not try to snatch it, but rather discussed an exchange with Ning Cheng. In the Yixing mainland, not all the people were like that cultivator surnamed Chu. There were also people like Dong Guoxiao who had their own standpoint. Ning Cheng knew about the True Internal Organs Pill. This was one of the best level 3 healing pills. For Sang Shoa and Meng Jingxiu's current injuries, the True Internal Organs Pill was indeed much better than the mysterious frost zoishas. Meng Jingxiu's arm was severely injured, but it was not completely cut off, so using the True Internal Organs Pill would be much better. Okay, I have the rare rank for Spiritual Grass Mysterious Frost Zoishas. then I will use a stock to exchange for your 2 pills. Ning Cheng took out a stalk of mysterious frost zoysias and handed it to Dong Guoxiao. He also knew that if it was outside, then using the precious mysterious frost zoysias to exchange for 2 true internal organs pills should be possible, but in here, using a stalk of mysterious frost zoysias to exchange for 2 true internal organs pills, it really was very difficult. However, doing business was all about asking for a sky-high price, and then returning the money on the spot. If it was really not possible, then he would use 2 stalks. He only had 3 stalks of mysterious frost zoysias. Dong Guoxiao slightly hesitated and said, "In here, if I exchange with you, then I will eat a little loss. Forget it, I am in urgent need of this mysterious frost zoysias. Can you also sell the other stock to me?" Ning Cheng did not think that Dong Guoxiao would be such an honest person. Since he had already bargained, he certainly would not take out the other stock. He quickly stuffed the stock of mysterious frost zoysias into the hands of the opposite party and said, "The other stock is something that I am in urgent need of. Thank you Dong Guo friend, later on when I go to the Feng continent, I will definitely take care of your business." Dong Guoxiao also immediately gave the 2 pills to Ning Cheng, although he looked very straightforward and honest when discussing business, but he was very stingy about other things, and did not even give a jade bottle to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng certainly did not care about this. He quickly put the 2 pills into Meng Jingxiu and Sang Shua's mouths, and then used his spiritual consciousness to carefully help Meng Jingxiu reattach her arm, and then fixed it in place and said, "The 2 of you quickly circulate your true essence, and dissolve the medicinal properties. I have heard of the reputation of the true internal organs pill, it should not be a big deal." Meng Jingxiu and Sang Shua gratefully looked at Ning Cheng. They also knew that this was not the time to talk, and quickly closed their eyes and circulated their true essence to heal their injuries. Dong Guoxiao seemed to know that Ning Cheng would have some trouble in the future. After exchanging for a stock of mysterious frost zoysias, he quickly left the place. He was extremely excited in his heart. He was in dire need of the mysterious frost zoysias, and did not think that he would be able to obtain it so easily. The reason why he was not willing to talk about the price with Ning Cheng, was that his temperament was originally like this, and also because he knew that Ning Cheng's troubles would soon come. He was not willing to get involved in it. If Ning Cheng did not die, then maybe he would come and trade with Ning Cheng. Of course, if Ning Cheng's mysterious frost zoysias were taken away by Chu Tongfu, then he would also look for Chu Tongfu to trade. Senior apprentice brother Xiao Cheng, that person came. It was him and his junior apprentice brother who seriously injured senior apprentice sister Jingxiu and senior apprentice brother Tsang. He also took away the essence-raising fruit that I obtained in senior apprentice brother Tsang's storage bag. If not for a spiritual grass hill being opened, then he would have already killed the 3 of us. Ruemu Danqin saw that the cultivator surnamed Chu once again come over, as she stood behind Ning Cheng with some fear, and carefully spoke out. "Huh, it really is one more person who came to die. Is this your senior apprentice brother Xiao Cheng? Good, since everyone is here, then you would not have to worry about him after death." The person surnamed Chu who had seriously injured Sang Shua and robbed the storage bag had not yet arrived, but his voice had already arrived. Chapter 140. Junior apprentice sister Danqin, is he the one who snatched your essence-raising fruits, and then seriously injured junior apprentice sister Jingxiu and junior apprentice brother Tsang? Ning Cheng looked at the man surnamed Chu and asked in a slow voice. "Stop pretending." The man surnamed Chu had a rank 4 spiritual grass snatched away by someone a moment ago. Moreover, the person who had snatched away his rank 4 spiritual grass was not a small figure. Therefore, he did not dare to make a move against them. At this moment, his heart was in a bad mood. Ning Cheng looked like he was asking for a beating. He could not bear it any longer, as the green claw was already in his hands. If not for Ruemu Danqin saying that senior apprentice brother Xiao Cheng would come, he would not have even brought out his magical weapon. Since Ning Cheng had already been mentioned, then presumably he still had a few more moves left, which was why he brought out his magical weapon. The man surnamed Chu brought out a magical weapon, but Ning Ching did not have any thoughts of taking out his golden great axe, as he immediately flew up, while simultaneously punching out with his fist. Ning Cheng's essence-building realm true essence was so rich that even he himself did not feel it. The power of the mysterious yellow formless cultivation method was undoubtedly revealed at this moment. The axe fist that was filled with the killing intent directly rolled up an axe shadow killing wall around this cultivator surnamed Chu. This cultivator surnamed Chu was completely wrapped up by Ning Cheng's axe fist's killing intent, as the formidable deathly aura shrouded him. How could he still have the courage to bring out his green claw? At this moment, there was only one thought in his mind. He had provoked someone he shouldn't have, and kicked someone he shouldn't have kicked. If he had known that this senior apprentice brother Xiao Qing was really so terrifying, he would have at most snatched away the essence-raising fruit. I am. The man surnamed Chu hastily reported his origin. Not to mention that Ning Cheng did not want him to reveal his origins at this time. Even if he did, Ning Cheng would still kill this fellow. If he could not force the other party to reveal his origins, then it would reduce some trouble. Ning Cheng certainly would not give up. The berserk killing force of the axe fist directly blasted back the words of the man surnamed Chu. Not waiting for the man surnamed Chu to react, Ning Cheng's axe fist had already solidly bombarded the body of the man surnamed Chu. Poof. That man surnamed Chu did not even have the ability to resist, as a bloody mist sprayed out, as he was directly killed by Ning Cheng's axe fist. After Ning Cheng killed that man surnamed Chu with a single punch, he calmly walked over and picked up his storage bag. Ning Cheng swept out with his spiritual consciousness and immediately found Sang Shua's storage bag. The surrounding onlookers were completely sluggish. Even some of the essence-building cultivators could not believe what they saw in Ning Cheng. They could vaguely feel that Ning Cheng also had the cultivation of essence-building realm, but his cultivation was definitely not at the intermediate stage of essence-building realm or even the late stage of essence-building realm. That is to say, Ning Cheng was most likely only at essence-building first level. For an essence-building first-level cultivator to kill a true condensation ninth-level cultivator was indeed very simple, but Ning Cheng was simply too simple. Moreover, Ning Cheng's axe fist was even more astonishing. Even the few cultivators from the Hua continent were looking at Ning Cheng in a daze. They were well aware of Ning Cheng's strength, so if Ning Cheng was able to kill that man surnamed Chu, then they would not find it strange at all. However, Ning Cheng was able to kill that man surnamed Chu so easily, which meant that his cultivation had definitely made some progress in this place. The true internal organs pill was indeed an excellent healing pill. Sang Shua was already able to stand up, as he took the storage bag from Ning Cheng and said in a worried voice, "Thank you senior apprentice brother Ning for helping me take revenge. I estimate that this time we are in big trouble." While Ning Cheng and Sang Shua were talking, Yong Guyun quietly pulled Yuing over, and anxiously said, "Yuing, why are you together with that man surnamed Ning? Don't you know what kind of person he is? He is together with Su Zhu, and relying on a few magic skills. Do you even know who he killed a moment ago? Lo Province's Red Heaven 7-Star Academy's disciple. You better hurry up and stand beside senior apprentice sister Meng Yujing, and pretend that you don't know anything about this matter." Yuing looked at Yong Guyun with a puzzled expression and said, "Senior apprentice sister Guyun, why are you standing here alone?" Yong Guyun looked at the man at her side, and her face turned slightly red, and at the same time spoke to Yuing in a somewhat bashful manner. "This is Celestial Globe 7-Star Academy's senior apprentice brother Lao Sheng. Senior apprentice brother Lao and I are very good friends. After I go out, I will also join the Celestial Globe 7-Star Academy. Later when you join the Celestial Globe 7-Star Academy, we will still be senior apprentice sister and junior apprentice sister." Saying that, Yong Guyun turned to the short man at her side and said, "Senior apprentice brother Lao, this is the one that I told you about before, junior apprentice sister Yuing who will be joining the Celestial Globe Academy. Junior apprentice sister Yuing has a pure wind spiritual root." Wind spirit root? The essence-building cultivator called Lao Sheng's eyes lit up, and then he cupped his fists towards Yuing and said, "Junior apprentice sister, you will definitely be a core disciple of my Celestial Globe Academy. so we will have to exchange and communicate with each other in the future. Greetings, Senior Apprentice Brother Lao. Ying also returned the courtesy. Lao Xing said to Yong Gu Yun with a smile, Junior Apprentice Sister Gu Yun, Junior Apprentice Sister Ying has successfully advanced to the true condensation realm. I estimate that you will have to call her Senior Apprentice Sister Ying from now on. Ah. Yong Gu Yun looked at Ying in shock. She was very clear that before they entered the Angry Axe Valley, Ying was still at Qi Gathering 6th level. How could she advance so quickly to the true condensation realm? This was simply impossible. Even if she stayed in the Falling Star Academy to cultivate, it would still be impossible for her to reach the true condensation realm so quickly. Ying smiled and said, that's right, I have indeed reached the true condensation realm. I'm going to go to Senior Apprentice Brother Ning's place, let's talk later. Yong Gu Yun finally reacted, and hastily called out, Ying, why are you still going to Ning City? Don't you know what kind of person he is? Besides, you'd be courting death if you went now. The essence-building cultivators of the Red Heaven Academy would absolutely not let go of Ning Cheng. Even if Ning Cheng was powerful, how could he fight against an essence-building cultivator? With your qualifications, coupled with Senior Kang's appreciation. Later when you go to the Celestial Globe Academy, you would definitely have a bigger development. We are all from the Ping continent, so in the future we will have to help each other. That's right, Senior Apprentice Sister Gu Yun, why are you not together with Senior Apprentice Sister Meng and the others? Ying suddenly asked an unrelated matter. Yong Gu Yun's expression was somewhat unnatural as she spoke, I may not return to the Hua continent in the future, it would be more convenient for me to be together with Senior Apprentice Brother Lao. Ying nodded, she already understood in her heart. If she did not know that she would definitely join the Celestial Globe Academy, and even get the attention of Senior Kang. Yong Gu Yun would definitely not have said those words to her, and even told her not to go and die together with Ning Cheng. What Gu Yun said is right, if you go now, then it would indeed be a dead end. That Ning Cheng killed the disciples of the Red Heaven Academy, he already has no way out. Since you are already in the true condensation realm, then you can come with us, later you can also go to the Celestial Globe Academy together. Lao Xing smiled and added a sentence from the side. Ying smiled and said, thank you, Big Brother Ning helped me, I think that it would be better for me to go with him. Besides, I have not yet joined the Celestial Globe Academy, so when I separate from Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, I will be together with Senior Apprentice Sister Meng and the others. Looking at Ying's back as she left, Lao Xing suddenly said, this Junior Apprentice Sister Ying's words are very thorny, it seems that she has some opinions about you. Yong Gu Yun stared at Ning Cheng and said with hatred, this surnamed Ning really has a way with women, originally there was a girl called an Yi, if not for Junior Apprentice Sister Lu Shui discovering her early on, I estimate that she would also be like Ying, played in the palm of his hand, and would never get tired of it. I hate this kind of guy who plays with women the most, fortunately he will not do it again, if there is a next time, and he falls into my hands, I will definitely make him look good. Lao Xing said with a sneer. Yong Gu Yun softly looked at Lao Xing, and whispered, in fact, I appreciate Senior Apprentice Brother Lao's temperament. That Ning Cheng is just relying on a kind of spear technique, to flaunt his strength in front of a true condensation cultivator. You dare to kill a disciple of my Red Heaven Academy? An angry and ruthless voice sounded from a distance, and then a brown-robed figure landed in front of Ning Cheng. Did you kill Chu Tongfu? You little bastard. As the figure landed, he immediately brought out a flying sword, his voice and the flying sword almost came out at the same time, he simply did not wait for Ning Cheng to answer. Ning Cheng could see that this true condensation 9th level cultivator was much more powerful than the previous cultivator surnamed Chu. For Ning Cheng, even if the opposite party was 10 times more powerful than the previous one, in front of him, it would only be a piece of cake. Senior Apprentice Brother Xiao Cheng, he is Shang Mao Gao. Senior Apprentice Sister Jing Xiu's arm was almost chopped off by him, moreover the injury on Senior Apprentice Sister Jing Xiu's lower abdomen was also done by him, moreover his flying sword light is very powerful. Ruemu Danqin was afraid that Ning Cheng would suffer a loss, and quickly reminded Ning Cheng from the side. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. This kind of trash is even more powerful, but that's all. Look at his arrogant and bullying appearance, he will soon know what it means to bully people. Saying that, he did not even move, as he raised his hand and blasted out 3 consecutive punches. These 3 punches did not even use his axe fist. Before he had used his axe fist to kill that cultivator surnamed Chu, it really was a waste of his talent. These 3 punches were just ordinary punches. Moreover, these 3 punches were not even very coherent, as they were slow and stagnant. Seeing that Ning Cheng did not even bring out his artifact, Shang Mao Gao was so angry that he gnashed his teeth to pieces. He must let Ning Cheng know the fearsomeness of his Luren sword light. He must grind Ning Cheng into pieces, and not let him die. So that Ning Cheng could see with his own eyes, how he, Shang Mao Gao, would slowly kill the 3 people behind him. But Shang Mao Gao soon felt that something was wrong. His Luren sword light had sent out 6 strange sword lights. These sword lights were able to lock down the surrounding imposing manor, binding Ning Cheng. Even extending his spiritual sense had become extremely difficult. But after his Luren sword light blasted out, the 6 strange sword lights had not yet taken shape, when they were blocked by a powerful true essence fist force. Cha-cha. The 6 sword lights in the air gave out a kind of sound, not to mention forming the imposing manner of the sword lights. Even taking shape was extremely difficult. The Luren sword light that had not yet taken shape was smashed into pieces by Ning Cheng's fist, and turned into nothingness. Shang Mao Gao's famous Luren sword light, in front of Ning Cheng's fist, was simply a joke. You are not Ning. Shang Mao Gao had not even finished his words, when he felt Ning Cheng's second fist had already arrived. At this time Shang Mao Gao was scared out of his wits. Even if he was more powerful, he could not be arrogant in front of an essence-building cultivator. He really wanted to beg for mercy, but at this time Ning Cheng's second fist wind had completely sealed him. Even if he could move, it would be extremely difficult for him to even move, not to mention the flow of air to speak. If he could, at this time he was willing to kneel down and beg for mercy. As long as Ning Cheng let him go, the Red Heaven Academy would naturally send out an essence-building cultivator to kill Ning Cheng. But, he did not have any chance at all. At the same time that he was bound, a scorching hot and terrifying fist shadow once again rumbled towards him. Shang Mao Gao knew that he absolutely would not be able to escape this third fist. Shang Mao Gao looked at this third fist in despair. He had never thought that he, who had always been proud and arrogant, and had always been one of the most outstanding people in the Red Heaven Academy, would die under these 3 fists. Moreover, he would not even have half a shred of strength to fight back. He finally understood what it meant to be a bully. Chapter 141. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, I'm sorry, originally this matter had nothing to do with you, but you ended up getting involved in it. Zhang Shua spoke to Ning Cheng in a very uneasy manner. Ning Cheng calmly spoke to Ruemu Danqin, who was standing behind him. Junior Apprentice Sister Danqin, you can explain the whole matter to this person who is able to convince people with reason, and does not use his strength to bully the weak. Zhang Shua came to Ning Cheng's side and spoke in a low voice. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, they should be the essence-building cultivators of the Red Heaven Academy. The essence-building cultivators are all alone on the other side fighting over the spiritual grasses. They probably know that someone from their sect has been killed. Ning Cheng did not take the initiative to attack. He just grabbed the golden great axe and stared at the long-eyebrowed cultivator in front of him. As for that early-stage essence-building female cultivator with her phoenix eyes, Ning Cheng directly ignored her. The long-eyebrowed cultivator was not like that female cultivator, who immediately started fighting. He first cupped his fists towards the people around him and turned around in a half-circle. Before he spoke, I am Wu Zhen from the Red Heaven 7-Star Academy. I am a disciple of the Red Heaven 7-Star Academy, and will never bully the weak. This person relied on his own strength as an essence-building cultivator, and killed a true condensation core disciple of my Red Heaven Academy. I, Wu Zhen, want to take revenge. I think this logic is reasonable even if you say it to the ends of the heavens. Ning Qing sneered and said, I did not hear that Chu Tongfu say that he was from the Red Heaven Academy. If you really want to start a fight, then don't look for any random reason. Come straight at me, I'll take them all. The female cultivator frowned. She gave a cold snort and was about to speak. Wu Zhen knew that her companion was about to take action, but it was not a good time to do so. Ning Qing knew what this Dong Guoxiao was here for, as he gave a faint smile and spoke, if this friend Dong Gua is here to exchange for the mysterious frost zoysias, then forget about it, the mysterious frost zoysias are of great use to me. The true essence fluctuations coming from Ning Cheng's body in his cultivation level were not obvious, moreover his age was also not that old, coupled with Ruemu Danqin calling him senior apprentice brother Xiao Cheng, he did not put him in his eyes. In his view, even if Ning Cheng managed to defeat Chu Tongfu, he estimated that he would not be able to pass through Shang Mao Gao's hands. Besides, now that everyone was in the Angry Axe Valley, this news would not leak out. Regarding the cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy in the Angry Axe Valley, Ning Cheng really did not care about them. As long as he came out of the Angry Axe Valley, he would immediately think of a way to return to the Hua continent, and take away Ji Luofei. He had initially been observing Ning Cheng's cultivation, as Ning Cheng cultivated the mysterious yellow formless, as such the overflow of his cultivation was not obvious. If he had the cultivation of profound congealing realm, then of course he would be able to see it at a glance, but his essence-building cultivation and Ning Cheng's essence-building cultivation simply could not be compared, as such he would need to use his spiritual consciousness to observe Ning Cheng's cultivation for some time. In fact, other than Ruemu Danqin who rushed up, all the cultivators from the Hua continent remained silent. They were the same as the others, they did not think that Ning Cheng would be able to kill Shang Mao Gao so easily. He did not think that Ning Cheng would really kill Shang Mao Gao. Originally, he had already determined that Ning Cheng was already at the essence-building realm, but now that Ning Cheng once again made his move, he could immediately see that Ning Cheng was not very proficient in using the essence-building realm true essence, as such he should have just recently reached the essence-building realm. The long-browed cultivator who called himself Wu Zhen originally thought that after he finished speaking, the surrounding people would immediately echo his words. However, what he didn't expect was that after he finished speaking, there was an awkward silence. No one echoed his words. Senior apprentice sister Jing Xiu, senior apprentice brother Tsang, senior apprentice brother Xiao Qing helped us take revenge, and killed these two bad guys, shouldn't you be celebrating and happy? Ruemu Danqin quickly felt that the atmosphere was not right, and quickly asked. He stared at them and spoke in a deep voice, we will investigate this matter, you killed a disciple of my Red Heaven Academy, just based on your side of the story, I simply cannot believe it. Besides, my Red Heaven Academy is also a 7-star academy, even if there was a misunderstanding between you and the disciples of my Red Heaven Academy, you are just an essence-building cultivator, you cannot kill the disciples of my academy, you can just tell me. Ning Cheng showed an apologetic look and said, I'm sorry, I really do not want to sell the mysterious frost zoysias. The surrounding people were not fools, although a 7-star academy was great, but now everyone was trapped in the Angry Axe Valley. Moreover, Ning Cheng was so powerful, in the case that there was no result, who would be willing to offend him at this time? You also do not have the opportunity to sell. A cold voice interrupted Ning Cheng from the side. Dong Guoxiao knew that this was an essence-building cultivator from the Red Heaven Academy, as he quickly moved to the side. He was a true alchemist, and under normal circumstances, he rarely offended others, and very few people offended him. Shang Mao Gao was a core disciple of the Red Heaven 7-star Academy. Not only did he have an amazing cultivation level, but he also had infinite potential, and was one of the key disciples of the Red Heaven Academy. But such a person was actually killed by a single punch from Ning Cheng. How could the Red Heaven Academy let this matter go? Not to mention that the Red Heaven Academy would not give up, even the essence-building cultivators of the Red Heaven Academy in the Angry Axe Valley would not give up. Pang, the sound of leather being smashed into smithereens, Shang Mao Gao was directly sent flying by the formidable True Essence fist force. By the time he landed on the ground, his appearance was even more miserable than that of cultivator Chu. Now that Ning Cheng had instantly killed Chu Tongfu and Shang Mao Gao, he did not even need to use his spiritual consciousness to observe Ning Cheng, as he knew that Ning Cheng was an essence-building cultivator. As for who was in the right, he simply did not care. He was sure that even if the people from the Red Heaven Academy were in the wrong, there would still be people who would go along with them. But he didn't expect that no one would agree. This caused the other party to state the real reason, and the reason was that the disciples of the Red Heaven Academy were bullying the weak. This was a slap in the face for what he had just said. This friend really has some skill, this Dong Guozhao's eyes are blind. The bearded man who had exchanged the mysterious frost zoisha with Ning Cheng was the first to arrive in front of Ning Cheng. He was smiling from ear to ear, and his demeanor was several times more enthusiastic than before. This Dong Guozhao had indeed come to exchange for the mysterious frost zoisha, but he did not expect that Ning Cheng would not only kill Chu Tongfu, but also Shang Mao Gao. Seeing that Ning Cheng did not even wait for him to speak, and had already spoken out in front of him, he could only give an awkward smile and said, "This friend can just name a price, as long as it is within my range, I can accept it." Similarly, although that cultivator surnamed Chu was also from the Red Heaven Academy, but his status compared to Shang Mao Gao was simply too far apart. No wonder he was able to kill martial nephew Shang. Originally he was relying on his essence-building cultivation to be amazing. Another male cultivator with long eyebrows spoke out in a sarcastic tone. He did not believe that other people could return to the Hua continent from the Jia continent, but he could not. Only Ning Cheng himself knew, even if he had not reached the essence-building realm, if he used his full strength, then it was not impossible for him to kill Shang Mao Gao with just 3 punches. Ning Cheng had already seen the people who had arrived. A woman with red phoenix eyes was at the essence-building realm 3rd level, and a male cultivator with long eyebrows who was overflowing with true essence, was at the essence-building realm 7th level. When Ning Cheng killed that cultivator surnamed Chu, he could say that he had just arrived, and did not know who that cultivator surnamed Chu was, but now that Ning Cheng had killed Shang Mao Gao, it was obvious that he could not use this as a reason. Not killing Shang Mao Gao, but also explaining to Shang Mao Gao that he did not know that this cultivator surnamed Chu was from a 7-star academy. Then he would be humiliated in every possible way, and finally he estimated that he would be hunted down by others. Since that was the case, then it would be better to kill him and talk about it later. If there were still other essence-building cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy in the Angry Axe Valley who wanted to settle accounts with him, then he would definitely kill the opposite party. When Ning Cheng killed that cultivator surnamed Chu, he was already prepared, otherwise he would not have killed Shang Mao Gao. For him, not killing that cultivator surnamed Chu was simply not realistic. People wanted to kill him. If he still endured it, then it would not be in his nature. As for killing Shang Mao Gao, it was the same. Sang Shua's words had not yet finished, when that female cultivator raised her hand and shot out a blue light. Sang Shua felt his entire body turn cold. He did not even have the time to react, when he saw a golden great axe appear in Ning Cheng's hands. That blue light was blocked by the golden great axe, causing a harsh explosion sound to ring out, as all kinds of scattered true essence scattered in all directions. He did not think that the Red Heaven Academy would do such a thing. If every time a person offended the Red Heaven Academy, then the Red Heaven Academy would exterminate their academy. It would simply be too outrageous. Senior Apprentice Brother Xiao Cheng, you really are too powerful. Ruemu Danqin excitedly rushed up and called out. In a place where strength was respected, if one wanted to reason with others, then it would be better to stick their own face out and let others slap it. The surroundings instantly turned silent. If Ning Cheng had killed that cultivator surnamed Chu, then it would not have shocked the people. But for Ning Cheng to kill Shang Mao Gao, it was already beyond everyone's expectations. Situ Yu was a bit bitter in his heart. He had given up the match against Ning Cheng in the Moze Grand Plaza in the 3rd round, but in his heart he thought that the difference between him and Ning Cheng was not that big. But now he found that if he had to face Ning Cheng's 3 punches a moment ago, then he would not have been able to escape. Compared to the time when he was in the Moze Grand Plaza, Ning Cheng was several times more powerful. Don't worry, this matter has nothing to do with you. That person was killed by me, you are the victim. If the Red Heaven Academy dares to deal with the God Wind Academy because of this matter, then in the future when my cultivation goes up, I will definitely look for them. Ning Cheng patted Sang Shua's shoulder and said. Although his mouth was ridiculing Ning Cheng, but in his heart he was secretly surprised. A cultivator who had just advanced to the essence-building realm, unexpectedly needed him to carefully observe them for a while before he could see their cultivation. Once the other party's cultivation stabilized, or even reached the middle stage of essence-building realm, then he would not necessarily be able to see the other party's cultivation. If one did not know these 2 people, then it would not matter, but if one knew the cultivators surnamed Chu and Shang Mao Gao, then they would know that the consequences of Ning Cheng's actions were very serious. At the same time all the people also knew that Ning Cheng was definitely not a true condensation cultivator. There was no one in the true condensation realm who could kill Shang Mao Gao with just 3 punches. Although Ruemu Danqin had almost no experience, but she was very clever in her speech. In just a few words, she clearly stated the cause and effect of the matter, and finally said, if you do not believe me, then you can ask the people here. If senior apprentice brother Xiao Qing had not come early, then the 3 of us would not only have been robbed by the people from your Red Heaven Academy, but we would also have been killed. You guys step back, I'll deal with these 2 guys. Ning Cheng said in a sinking voice. He knew that in the face of an essence-building cultivator, Sang Shua and the others would not be able to help, not to mention that Sang Shua and Meng Jingxiu were still seriously injured. Wu Zhen's complexion turned a bit ugly. His original intention was that after he spoke, and the people around him echoed his words, then he would immediately kill Ning Cheng. If he did not echo, then at most he would lose the opportunity to please the Red Heaven Academy. Once he agreed, and in the event that Wu Zhen lost, then it was very likely that he would end up offending Ning Cheng. Besides, everyone here was clear about the matter. If Wu Zhen said that he was in the right, then it was simply a joke. Chapter 142. At this moment, Wu Zhen was extremely regretful. If he had known earlier that he would have killed them, he could have still killed the 4 of them. But in this way, the Red Heaven Academy would really have the reputation of bullying the weak. Of course, he did not know that Ning Cheng was not afraid of him at all. What's the point of wasting your breath on trash like him? A life for a life, a debt for a debt, it's only right and proper. How dare he try to reason with me? The female cultivator who came together with Wu Zhen did not have the same patience as Wu Zhen. As such, when she saw that Ning Cheng seemed to have a good reason, as such she did not have the patience to continue talking nonsense. While speaking, the 1,000 transformation wheel in his hand had already shot towards Ning Cheng. As the violent will lights smashed towards Ning Cheng, these will lights quickly took control of this space and turned into a variety of will shadows of different colors as they whizzed down. Other than the place where Ning Cheng was standing, which was still intact under Ning Cheng's imposing aura, the surroundings were completely destroyed by the explosion of the wheel lights. Under the formidable imposing manner of the wheel light, Ning Cheng's sleeves were making rustling sounds, but he did not move, nor did he bring out his golden great axe. Wu Zhen had not been able to think of a good reason to kill Ning Cheng, but now that his companion wanted to kill him with a life for a life, it was exactly what he wanted. However, when he saw that Ning Cheng unexpectedly did not move, he hesitated. He believed that Ren Yenyu would be able to kill Ning Cheng, but even if Ning Cheng was a late-stage essence-building cultivator, he would not dare to face this kind of violent colored wheel without making a move. At this time, Ning Cheng finally made his move. Ning Cheng did not bring out his golden great axe, rather he instantly placed the golden great axe on his back, while simultaneously blasting out with his spear. After Ning Cheng obtained the golden great axe, this was the first time that he had brought out an incomplete spear. He could already see that this female cultivator's 1,000 transformation wheel was not an ordinary artifact, but a spiritual artifact. Ning Cheng had never fought against a cultivator who wielded a spiritual artifact, as such he was somewhat worried that his golden great axe would be damaged by this female cultivator's 1000 transformation wheel. Although the golden great axe was just an artifact, but Ning Cheng was very comfortable with it. Moreover, Ning Cheng believed that the profound ice spear shadows would be more effective in dealing with this kind of violent colored will lights and shadows. If that Wuxian dared to make a move, the golden great axe would be waiting for him. This time Ning Cheng did not try to hide the ice-cold profound ice spear shadows, his true essence and spiritual consciousness were already sufficient, so the profound ice spear shadows were just the right time to burst out. Ren Yanyu was very confident in her 1000 transformation wheel. She believed that even if a middle-stage essence-building realm cultivator met with her 1000 transformation wheel, they would have to go all out to resist it. If they were even a little bit careless, then they would be swept away by her will shadows. If one was hit by her will shadow, even if they didn't die, they would be heavily injured. When she brought out the 1000 transformation wheel, she found that Ning Cheng did not immediately bring out his magical weapon, causing her to sneer in her heart. He even went all out to stimulate his chakra light, wanting to shred the place where Ning Cheng was standing into pieces. Right at this moment, she suddenly felt that her surroundings seemed to have turned cold, and the chilling intent caused her will light to stagnate. She herself was also affected by this kind of cold, and her true essence was not as smooth as it was at the beginning. This person actually has an ice spirit root? Ren Wanyu was slightly surprised, as the profound ice spear shadows had already formed into a spear net. 30 bone-chilling spear shadows shot out, almost freezing the surrounding area in a radius of several feet. At the same time that Ning Cheng shot out, it immediately collided with the 1000 transformation wheel's explosion of lights. Boom! The majestic imposing manner caused the surrounding area to be torn apart even more thoroughly, as large chunks of hard rocks were blasted apart, turning into dust, completely enveloping the place where Ning Cheng and the female cultivator were standing. The surrounding people with weak spiritual consciousness were simply unable to extend their spiritual consciousness into the whirlpool of the battle between the two people. Pa pa pa. The profound ice spear shadows formed into a spear net that seemed to have a substantial substance, as it completely tore apart the surrounding colored will lights, causing bursts of crackling sounds to ring out. As the formidable spear shadows pressed down on her body, Ren Wanyu's complexion changed. If she could not block this dense profound ice spear net, then even if she was not killed by the spear shadows, she would still be frozen solid by the cold. It was not until this moment that she understood that she was far from being Ning Cheng's opponent. Wu Jin could already see that once Ning Cheng's spear net covered Ren Wanyu, then Ren Wanyu would die without a doubt. At this time he did not have any hesitation. The flying fire crow in his hands did not hesitate for even half a moment as it shot out. 2 terrifying blazing flames spat out from the flying fire crow, and formed a half-moon shape between the profound ice spear shadows and the colored will shadows. Some of the cultivators with weaker cultivations once again retreated a lot. With this kind of terrifying temperature, once even a little bit of it splashed onto their body, then they would definitely die. Some of the cultivators who were standing on Ning Cheng's side were already worried about Ning Cheng. They did not know how Ning Cheng would deal with this kind of terrifying flying fire crow's flames. Ning Cheng's profound ice spear shadows seemed to be slightly weakened because of this incomparably hot flame. Ren Wanyu felt a burst of relief, and was just thinking of withdrawing her 1000 transformation wheel, and then fight alongside Wu Jin against Ning Cheng, when she felt a kind of killing intent that made her entire body go cold. This was not a chill that came from her body, rather it was a chill that came from her will and her soul. A golden axe trace appeared out of thin air, as it fell down from the void. She seemed to feel that her consciousness was also being struck by an axe shadow. This axe shadow even wanted to cut through her mind. The axe trace cut through all the surrounding true essence and imposing manner of the magical weapons, as it rumbled towards her. The 1000 transformation wheels will shadows were directly split apart by the golden axe shadow, and instantly dimmed. The 2 terrifying flames that the flying fire crow spat out, were also directly split into 2 halves by the golden axe shadow. Just as half of the flames were blown away by Ning Cheng was aware that the Star River in his Zifu moved, as an invisible force swept over the flames that were split apart by the axe trace were directly swept away by the Star River, and disappeared without a trace. Such a powerful axe-type killing intent. Ren Wanyu frantically retreated. She had been fighting against the killing intent of this hill for a long time, so when Ning Cheng's axe-type killing intent came out, she was immediately aware of it. This kind of feeling of being split apart made her shocked, so much so that she could not even give birth to half a thought of resistance. Puff. Ren Wanyu was already at a disadvantage, and did not have the ability to resist at all. Ning Cheng's angry axe, the first style, made her feel a chill in her heart, as the golden axe shadow passed through her dantian, without even the slightest pause. Ning Cheng was actually a bit relieved. It seems that even a spiritual artifact also depended on the person using it. Not everyone could threaten him with a spiritual artifact. At this time Wu Zhen could no longer pay attention to Ren Wanyu. As Ning Cheng's golden axe shadow descended, the formidable axe-type killing intent rumbled towards him. He immediately felt that it was not good. Almost at the same time, he unexpectedly discovered that the flames spouted out by the flying fire crow had disappeared without a trace. This was a strange flame that he had refined between the heavens and the earth. It was absolutely impossible for it to disappear without any reason. The formidable golden axe-type killing intent did not allow Wu Zhen to think too much, as the flying fire crow had already been completely stimulated. Catcha. The golden axe trace, with a formidable killing intent, exploded on Wu Zhen's flying fire crow, causing the true essence to once again explode out, causing the huge crater in the surroundings to become even more thorough. The formidable true essence backlash and the axe-type killing intent caused Wu Zhen to fly upside down. Bang! Wu Zhen was sent flying upside down, as he collided with a true condensation cultivator who was standing far away and watching the fight. However, Ning Cheng's first trace only managed to kill Ren Wanyu, and did not injure Wu Zhen at all. Wu Zhen almost stopped flying upside down, as he once again landed in front of Ning Cheng, as he angrily shouted with flames in his eyes, "You actually dare to kill an essence-building cultivator of my Red Heaven Academy." While speaking, Wu Zhen's boundless killing intent burst out in a twinkling of an eye. The surrounding gravel that had been smashed into pieces by his imposing manner formed a true essence wall that cut through the air. At this time, Wu Zhen was still talking nonsense, but Ning Cheng was too lazy to even speak half a word. The golden great axe once again split through the air, bringing with it an even more killing intent axe shadow. Wu Zhen's flying fire crow also blasted out. This time the flying fire crow shot out 4 fire lines. The terrifying scorching temperature even burned the surrounding air with a chi-chi sound. As the 4 fire lines collided with Ning Cheng's golden great axe shadow, the killing intent of the axe shadow immediately weakened a bit. The Star River in Ning Cheng's Zifu once again moved. The 4 fire lines had just touched the killing intent of the axe shadow, when they were swept away by the Star River. Even if Wu Zhen was an idiot, he knew that his magic weapon was being countered by Ning Cheng, coupled with Ning Cheng's terrifying axe-type killing intent. At this time he was very clear, if he continued to fight, then he absolutely would not be Ning Cheng's opponent. Let's leave first. Wu Zhen was incomparably decisive. When he decided to leave, he even abandoned his flying fire crow. His figure immediately faded. It seems that he was using some kind of escape technique. At this time, the golden axe shadow's killing intent had already descended. Wu Zhen's faded figure once again became clear. Under this kind of terrifying axe shadow's killing intent, he simply could not use his escape technique. He had to block the axe shadow's killing intent, or avoid it. Only then would he be able to use his escape technique. "I am a person from the Red Heaven 7-Star Academy. If you kill me again, my Red Heaven Academy will definitely not let you go. If you are willing to stop, then the previous matter will be written off." At this time, Wu Zhen did not care about his face. On one hand he was eagerly begging for mercy, on the other hand he was trying to find a way to avoid Ning Cheng's axe-type killing intent. For him, the most important thing right now was to escape. If he wholeheartedly wanted to fight with Ning Cheng, then perhaps he could still hold on for a while. Using this kind of threat to deal with Ning Cheng, Wuxian really thought too highly of his Red Heaven Academy. Not to mention that Ning Cheng had already killed 3 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy. Even if he had not started, at this time he would not let Wuxian go. After Wuxian finished saying this sentence, he immediately felt Ning Cheng's axe-type killing intent. He was overjoyed in his heart, thinking that his strategy had succeeded. He crazily stimulated his true essence. But he soon fell into despair. The axe-type killing intent that had stagnated for a moment did not dissipate, rather it turned into a huge whirlpool. This line of axe-type killing intent turned into a tornado of killing intent, completely engulfing the surroundings. But he was in the middle of this whirlpool. The killing intent that had penetrated into his bone marrow made Wuxian unable to escape. He could only reluctantly bring out the flying fire crow. Cha-cha. After the sound of the flying fire crow, Wuxian no longer made even the slightest sound. Chapter 143. What a strong killing intent. This killing intent seems to be similar to the killing intent in front of the spiritual grass hills. Indeed, this is the killing intent of the Angry Axe Valley. Moreover, that person is also using a golden great axe. Could it be that he has already comprehended the axe-type killing intent of the Angry Axe Valley? So powerful. The onlookers had been looking for spiritual grasses in front of this hill, and some of them could already feel the formidable axe-type killing intent coming from Ning Cheng. Under Ning Cheng's formidable axe-type killing intent, even if Ning Cheng killed 4 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy, it was already an insignificant matter. Every time the Angry Axe Valley opened, there would always be a lot of people entering, but the people who could truly comprehend the axe intent were very rare. Every person who comprehended the axe intent, as long as they did not fall, would eventually be able to achieve something. Even Song Shuo was pleasantly surprised. Ning Cheng killing Shang Mao Gao and Chu Tongfu did not make him feel strange, as he had already experienced Ning Cheng's fierceness. He had not thought that Ning Cheng would unexpectedly be able to kill 2 essence-building cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would never have believed such a result. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, are you already in the essence-building realm? Sang Shua now knew that Ning Cheng was definitely in the essence-building realm. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning Cheng, it was you who gave me the quota to enter the Angry Axe Valley, and now you saved my life, thank you. Meng Jingxiu came over and spoke to Ning Cheng in a very grateful manner. After saying that, she hesitated for a moment and then added a sentence, Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, I have something else that I want to. Ning Cheng raised his hand to stop Meng Jingxiu's words. I know, we can talk about this later. Meng Jingxiu had said in the Moze Grand Plaza, that she had entered the Angry Axe Valley and that she would definitely have something to pay for. As such, Ning Cheng had initially suspected that she had some sort of secret in the Angry Axe Valley. Now that Meng Jingxiu mentioned it again, it made him even more sure that what he thought was not wrong. However, it was better to talk about such things when there were only the 2 of them. Ha ha ha. A burst of hearty laughter arrived, as a slender man landed beside Ning Cheng and the others. Behind the slender male cultivator were 2 men and a woman. Adding the laughing male cultivator, there were a total of 4 people. Ning Cheng's expression remained the same, as if he did not care about this male cultivator. He just nonchalantly picked up the storage bag and magic treasures on the ground, and then calmly looked at the person who came, not saying a word. This slender male cultivator already had the cultivation of essence building 8th level, but the aura coming from his body was very dangerous, and should be a lot stronger than Wu Zhen. Among the 3 people behind him, apart from a short-stature male cultivator who was only at essence building 3rd level, the other 2 were at essence building 6th level. Friend, I am Wan Hong from the Feng Continent's Profound Moon 7-Star Academy, and I would like to invite you to join our team. How about we borrow each other's strength to search for spiritual herbs together? Not only was Luan Hong handsome, but he also had a slender figure. The way he spoke also made people feel like they were bathing in a spring breeze. Ning Cheng frowned, looking for spiritual grasses together. He had already seen many hills with spirit grasses. Moreover, he had also seen many people dealing with a hill. The hills seemed to have a restriction. However, he did not know the specifics. As soon as he arrived, he immediately clashed with the cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy, and it was only until a moment ago that he finally calmed down. Luan Hong saw that Ning Cheng did not understand, and quickly explained, "My team has a total of 6 people, the previous Wu Zhen and Ren Yen you have already fallen, if you do not mind, then you can replace them and join our team, we can equally distribute the spiritual grasses that we collect." Seeing that Ning Cheng still did not understand, Zhang Shua spoke from the side, "Senior apprentice brother Ning, it's like this. The hills here have many spiritual grasses, but these hills seem to be surrounded by a kind of axe-type killing intent from the Angry Axe Valley. If you cannot use your imposing manner or some other method to break through the axe-type killing intent in front of the hills, then there is no way to enter the hills to collect the spiritual grasses. If you forcibly attack, then not only would you not be able to break through the killing intent in front of the hills, but it would also make the killing intent grow stronger and stronger. Therefore, the essence-building seniors here have formed a team to fight against the killing intent in front of the hills. Once you break through the axe-type killing intent in front of the hills, then you can enter the hills to collect the spiritual grasses. The strength of the true condensation cultivators is slightly weaker, so they can only swarm up, and rely on their imposing manner to break through the hills. As long as the killing intent in front of the hills is broken, then everyone can snatch it together, moreover the more powerful they are, the more they can snatch. Because junior apprentice sister Dan Qin followed behind, she picked up a fruit. Zhang Shua explained, Ning Cheng immediately came to understand, originally the spiritual grasses in the hills were all wrapped up by the killing intent. To deal with the axe-type killing intent in the Angry Axe Valley, he still had some experience. Many thanks for Elder Brother Luan's appreciation, but I do not intend to form a team with others for the time being. Ning Cheng euphemistically cupped his fists and spoke. Luan Hong was a bit regretful, but he still did not give up and tried to persuade him, "Friend, the killing intent in here is something that a single person absolutely cannot resist. Previously there were a few essence-building cultivators with powerful cultivations, who wanted to rely on a single person to resist the axe-type killing intent in here. The result was that they were directly killed by the killing intent in here, and did not even have half a shred of resistance." Luan Hong had just seen Ning Cheng's attack. Ning Cheng's great axe was filled with a formidable axe-type killing intent. If Ning Cheng joined them, then their success rate in breaking through the killing intent in front of the hills would definitely increase exponentially. The effect would definitely not be worse than Wu Zhen and Ren Yen you added together. Ning Cheng still smiled and said, "Thank you, but I really do not have any plans to form a team. Moreover, I also have a few junior apprentice brothers and junior apprentice sisters. Even if I wanted to form a team, I would still be together with them." Luan Hong regretfully looked at Zhang Shua and the others on the side, and said, "Since that is the case, then forget it." Although Ning Cheng was good, but because of Ning Cheng he had to form a team with Zhang Shua and the others, he was not willing to do so. A few people did not do anything, and instead wanted to distribute the spiritual grasses. How could there be such a good thing? Elder Brother Ning, congratulations on successfully advancing to the essence-building realm. Seeing Luan Hong leave, Situ Yu, who had long since wanted to come over and say hello, came up with a smile. Senior apprentice brother Xiao Cheng, before senior apprentice sister Jing Xiu and senior apprentice brother Tsang were seriously injured, only this senior apprentice brother came to help. He gave us 2 healing pills. Ruemu Dan Qin was very grateful to Situ Yu. Now that Situ Yu came over, she quickly spoke in Ning Cheng's ear. Situ Yu awkwardly said, "I am really ashamed, my strength is limited, and could only leave behind 2 pills, and then helplessly watch senior apprentice brother Tsang and junior apprentice sister Meng being bullied." Ning Cheng quickly said, "Many thanks elder brother Situ. With elder brother Situ's cultivation, for you to be able to do this Ning Cheng will definitely remember it." Ning Cheng was very clear about the situation here. He would not blame the other people from the Hua continent for not helping out, because if the other people tried to help, then they would only end up dead. Because of this, Situ Yu was able to take out the pills to help. it was enough to show his gratitude. Regardless of what would happen when he went out, at this time Ning Cheng was showing his prestige here, it was enough to shock anyone here. Among the cultivators from the Hua continent, other than Yong Gu Yun who had found a backer, the rest of the people were not able to find a backer. Now they wanted to come over and say hello to Ning Cheng, and at the same time look for a backer. But thinking that the disciples of the God Wind Academy were being bullied, and none of them came forward, they did not have the face to come forward. Standing together with Yong Gu Yun was a short cultivator called Lao Sheng, but at this time his complexion was somewhat ugly. He had thought that he could easily kill Ning Cheng, but now he knew that Ning Cheng could easily kill him. He knew that he was definitely not Wu Zhen's opponent, but now Ning Cheng had even killed Wu Zhen, moreover it was under the joint attack of two essence-building cultivators. With this kind of cultivation, how could he even care about an early-stage essence-building cultivator? Yong Gu Yun was also staring at Ning Cheng in shock. She had not thought that Ning Cheng had already successfully advanced to the essence-building realm. Did this guy really have a hybrid spiritual root? Wasn't this cultivation speed simply too terrifying? Other people were not very intuitive about Ning Cheng's cultivation level. Many of the people from the Hua continent even thought that Ning Cheng had concealed his cultivation level during the great meet in the Moze Grand Plaza. Only she was very clear that Ning Cheng had not concealed his cultivation level. Not only did he not conceal his cultivation level, but he had also advanced from the Qi-gathering realm to the essence-building realm, and had only used a little bit of time. It was merely 2 years. Yong Gu Yun was obviously a lot of worldly wisdom, as she looked at Lao Sheng, and thought about the words that Lao Sheng had spoken to her before, and immediately knew what Lao Sheng was thinking in his heart. She hurriedly spoke up to comfort him. He has a hybrid spiritual root. It was only in the Angry Axe Valley that he obtained a few opportunities, that he has this kind of cultivation level. Once he comes out of the Angry Axe Valley, not to mention that he would be hunted down by the Red Heaven Academy. Even if he was not hunted down, with his qualifications, he would not be able to enter an advanced level academy or an academy. If he wanted to make any big progress, then I estimate that it would be very difficult. Lao Sheng knew that Yong Gu Yun's words were meant to please him, but his complexion still eased a lot. Then he nodded and said, "What you said is right, a rogue cultivator only has 1 or 2 opportunities, it would not always be accompanied by good luck." "That's right, is the girl beside him really a pure wind spiritual root?" "That's right, Ying definitely has a pure wind spiritual root, moreover when she tested her spiritual root, it was a pure white color." Yong Gu Yun spoke with certainty. A pure white-colored wind spiritual root. Lao Sheng was not Yong Gu Yun, as he almost screamed out loud. He knew that in the Ping continent, as long as the color of a single main spiritual root reached a cloudy white color, then it could be called a pure spiritual root. He had previously thought that Yu Ying's pure wind spiritual root would also be cloudy white, at most it would be white, but he did not think that it would actually be a pure white. Who has a pure white wind spiritual root? A cold voice sounded out from beside Yong Gu Yun and Lao Sheng. Appearing in front of the two of them was a purple-robed woman with a veil covering her face. Her cultivation should be around true condensation 9th level, and beside her was a middle-aged cultivator. Lao Sheng could only know that this middle-aged cultivator's cultivation was higher than his, but he could not see what level of essence-building realm he was at. "I am Lao Sheng from the Celestial Globe 7-Star Academy." Lao Sheng had not even finished, when he was interrupted by the purple-robed woman with a veil covering her face. "I asked you who has a pure white wind spiritual root, not you." Hearing a true condensation 9th level cultivator speak, Lao Sheng subconsciously shivered, as he hurriedly spoke. "She is called Ying, she is..." Yong Gu Yun also knew that the origin of the two people in front of her was not ordinary, and hurriedly spoke. "Junior apprentice sister Ying and I are from the Hua continent. She indeed has a pure white wind spiritual root, she is over there." Saying that, Yong Gu Yun pointed towards Ying who was still talking to Ruemu Danchin. Chapter 144. "You are called Ying, do you have a pure white wind spiritual root?" The purple-robed woman with a veil covering her face quickly arrived in front of Yu Ying, and opened her mouth to ask. Yu Ying and Ruemu Danqin's age was similar, although she was a lot more mature than Ruemu Danqin, but with the same age they still had a lot in common. At this time she was chatting non-stop with Ruemu Danqin. Now that a strange woman suddenly stared at her and asked about her spirit roots, she was a little surprised. Although the spirit root was not a secret, he would not casually tell a stranger about it. When the purple-robed woman and the middle-aged male cultivator arrived, Ning Cheng had already noticed them. He seemed to have seen these two people when he was mining. Yu Ying was only 2 or 3 years younger than Ning Cheng, but in Ning Cheng's opinion, Yu Ying's age was still too young. Since someone was asking about something, then of course he would have to come forward. Who are you, that you want to ask about Yu Ying's spiritual roots? Ning Cheng also did not use any honorifics, just like how the purple-robed woman asked Yu Ying. Ning Cheng came from Earth, so he believed that respect should be mutual. Since the other party did not respect him, then there was no need for him to do so. Unless he was facing someone whose cultivation far surpassed his, he would have no choice but to respectfully address him as senior. Of the two people in front of him, one was at true condensation 9th level, while the other was at late-stage essence-building realm. How could he put them in his eyes? Even if he knew that this late-stage essence-building cultivator was not simple, Ning Cheng did not care about it. Your concealment cultivation method is quite good. I don't know if you were at true condensation 9th level when you were mining, or if you had already reached the essence-building realm. This purple-robed woman wearing a veil over her face did not get angry because of Ning Cheng's impolite words, but rather spoke about Ning Cheng's cultivation method. She absolutely did not believe that Ning Cheng, who was at the true condensation 3rd level 6 months ago, would have already reached the essence-building realm by now. No matter how fast a person's cultivation was, it was impossible to be this fast. Ning Cheng thought to himself, sure enough, these two people really were there when he was mining. He simply said, when I was mining, I was already at true condensation 9th level, and dug out 2 best quality spirit stones from the spirit stone mine. Later, I used 2 best quality spirit stones to successfully enter the essence-building realm. When she heard Ning Cheng say that he had dug out a best quality spirit stone, the purple-robed woman wearing a veil over her face also showed a slight shock in her eyes. But when she heard that Ning Cheng had used best quality spirit stones to build the essence-building realm, her eyes revealed a trace of ridicule, as she spoke in a light voice, using best quality spirit stones to build the essence-building realm, moreover using 2 of them. This is the first time that I have heard of such a thing. You really are rich. Ning Cheng did not care about this purple-robed woman's sarcasm, as he turned to Zhang Shua and the others and said, let's go to the hills in front of us to have a look, and see if we can make a small fortune. Wait, Yu Ying has not answered my question. This purple-robed woman stopped Ning Cheng and the others. Ning Cheng frowned, and spoke with some displeasure, the few of us have nothing to do with you, and have never seen you before, so why should we tell you about our spiritual roots? Aren't you making things too difficult for me? The middle-aged male cultivator, on seeing that Ning Cheng and the purple-robed woman were not in agreement with each other, quickly came forward and cupped his fists before speaking. This friend, please do not misunderstand, we are from the Look Continent's Thoughtless Academy. We just happened to come here, and heard some people say that Yu Ying has a pure white wind spiritual root, so we really wanted to ask her, if Yu Ying really does have a pure white wind spiritual root, then our Thoughtless Academy would definitely welcome her to join us. As soon as the 3 words Thoughtless Academy came out, all the surrounding people who heard it immediately turned silent, as they looked at the middle-aged cultivator and the purple-robed woman with eyes filled with respect and worship. Some of the people looked at Yu Ying with even more envy, as they could not wait to immediately replace Yu Ying's position. On Ning Cheng's side, other than Zhang Shua, the rest of the people were all country bumpkins from the Hua continent, as such none of them had heard of the Thoughtless Academy. Zhang Shua knew that Ning Cheng and the others did not know about it, as he spoke in a low voice. I heard that the Thoughtless Academy is one of the 3 major academies of the Look continent, and is also one of the 3 major academies of the Yixing mainland. The academy has many strong people, and has a very high status in the Yixing mainland. But I also heard that the Thoughtless Academy is extremely strict when it comes to recruiting disciples. If one does not have a certain level of qualifications, then they will not accept them. Once they are accepted, then the resources within the academy will also be available. You are wrong. After you join the Thoughtless Academy, you will not be able to get all the resources you need. All the resources are used to cultivate the core disciples. Ordinary disciples need to struggle on their own, in order to get the cultivation resources that they want. The purple-robed woman apparently heard Sang Shua's words, and immediately retorted. But Ning Cheng was moved in his heart. No wonder this purple-robed woman had such a high and mighty appearance. It seems that she really does have some capital awe. If Yuing joined the Thoughtless Academy, then that old man surnamed Kong would just be like floating clouds to her. Yuing, you answer her truthfully. Ning Cheng nodded towards Yuing, who was looking at him. When Yuing saw Ning Cheng nod, she gave a salute to the purple-robed woman and said, replying to this elder sister's words, I really do have a pure white wind spiritual root. At this point, the purple-robed woman and the middle-aged male cultivator already understood that Ning Cheng was the leader here. When they heard Yuing say that she had a pure white wind spiritual root, their eyes flashed with a trace of excitement. A pure white wind spiritual root, even the Thoughtless Academy did not have it. Are you willing to join my Thoughtless Academy? The purple-robed woman did not even discuss with the middle-aged male cultivator, and eagerly looked at Yuing and asked. Saying that, she seemed to have remembered that Ning Cheng was the one in charge, and quickly said to Ning Cheng, my Thoughtless Academy is one of the 3 major academies in the entire Yixing mainland. Yuing has such a spiritual root qualification, only by joining the Thoughtless Academy would she be able to obtain the greatest improvement. In Ning Cheng's heart, he really hoped that Yuing would join the Thoughtless Academy. Yuing was currently in a lot of trouble, moreover he did not have the strength to fight against that cultivator surnamed Kong. Yuing also heard Sang Shua's introduction of the Thoughtless Academy, and from the bottom of her heart she really wanted to join the Thoughtless Academy. But she knew that Ning Cheng had also offended that cultivator surnamed Kong. Thinking till here, Yuing quickly said, many thanks to this elder sister's kindness. Ning Cheng is my senior apprentice brother, I hope that he can also join the Thoughtless Academy. Speaking till here, she once again remembered Sang Shua and the others, and added a sentence, we had previously offended the Red Heaven Academy, so I want to be with them. Yuing did not say that she hoped that Sang Shua and the others would also join the Thoughtless Academy, but this purple-robed woman had already heard the meaning behind Yuying's words, causing her to suddenly frown. The Thoughtless Academy's recruitment of disciples was extremely strict, it was not something that anyone could casually join. Ning Cheng had used 2 best quality spirit stones to advance to the essence-building realm, it would be strange if his spiritual root qualification was good. The purple-robed woman and the middle-aged cultivator exchanged glances, and then looked at Ruemu Danqin and the others and asked, what kind of spiritual roots do the few of you have? Ruemu Danqin was the first to speak, I have a white pure fire spiritual root. White pure fire spiritual root. Not bad, with your spiritual root, you can join our Thoughtless Academy's inner sect. The purple-robed woman's eyes flashed with a hint of joy, if the rest of the people also had good spiritual roots, then she could also make the decision to join the Thoughtless Academy. In that case, Yuing would definitely join the Thoughtless Academy. But, these few people, with good spiritual roots, seemed to be unlikely. At least the leader of the group, senior apprentice brother Ning, did not have a good spiritual root. I have a muddy white main earth spiritual root, which is also a pure spiritual root. Sang Shua also quickly spoke. The purple-robed woman's eyes showed a trace of disappointment, and then said, only a pure white spiritual root can be called a pure spiritual root, even Ruemu Danqin's white fire spiritual root cannot be called a pure spiritual root. Sang Shua said in a puzzled voice, but when I tested for my spiritual root, I obviously only had a single main spiritual root. The middle-aged man showed a faint smile, that is because the Hua continent's spiritual root testing magical weapon is wrong. As long as the main spiritual root is protruding, and the support spiritual root is not very obvious, some of the support spiritual roots cannot be tested. Because of this, the Hua continent's pure spiritual roots are as many as the hairs on an ox. Tsang Shua looked at the middle-aged man's mouth with a trace of a smile. How could he not understand the meaning of the other party? His face was somewhat hot. He was a core disciple of the God Wind Academy, not because his father was the dean, but because he truly had a pure spiritual root. He did not think that the Hua continent's pure spiritual roots, and the other high-leveled continent's pure spiritual roots would have such a big difference. The purple-robed woman said, "Even so, but you are now qualified to join our Wunyan Academy's outer sect. As for whether or not you can become an inner sect disciple, it will depend on the degree of effort you put in." Even if it was the Wunyan Academy's outer sect disciple, Tsang Shua would still be 100 times more willing, as he understood the Wunyan Academy the best. But now that Yuying had not nodded her head, he could not show it, and could only thank the other party. He had already made up his mind, as long as he could join the Wunyan Academy, he would ask Yuying to help him ask for a profound rainbow pill from the Wunyan Academy. Meng Jingxiu said in a somewhat depressed manner, "I have a gold main spiritual root, although it is muddy white, but it is a 3-line hybrid spiritual root." The purple-robed woman frowned and said, "With your qualifications, there is no way for you to become an outer sect disciple of the Wunyan Academy. If you do not mind, I can arrange for you to go to the Wunyan Academy's shops to do some chores." Meng Jingxiu had always been a proud and arrogant person. How could she accept going to the Wunyan Academy to do some chores? She gave a salute and said, "Many thanks to this senior apprentice sister's kindness, but I have already decided to become a rogue cultivator." Originally Meng Jingxiu had intended to return to the God Wind Academy, but now that she had seen too many powerful academies and talented people in the Angry Axe Valley, she no longer had any thoughts of returning to the God Wind Academy. The purple-robed woman nodded, and took out a pill and handed it to Meng Jingxiu and said, "This pill can help you recover from the injury on your arm in the shortest possible time, and will not affect your future cultivation." Some of the surrounding people were already anxious for Meng Jingxiu. Even if she went to the Wunyan Academy's shops to do some chores, it would still be several times better than going to an ordinary academy or a rogue cultivator. This silly woman unexpectedly refused. Meng Jingxiu quickly took the pill, and once again thanked her. In the face of such a good thing, she would not refuse it. Once she refused, it would be the same as taking her own life as a joke. But Ning Cheng had some doubts in his heart. Meng Jingxiu also had a hybrid spiritual root, so how could she see the changes in the leather parchment? Even if she could only see 2 of them, but after all she could see the changes. According to his previous thoughts, a hybrid spiritual root would not be able to see the changes in the leather parchment. "What about you?" The purple-robed woman's words interrupted Ning Cheng's thoughts. Chapter 145. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and said, "I have a multi-line hybrid spiritual root. I do not want to go to the shops, so I will not go to the Wunyan Academy." Big Brother Ning. Yuying, on hearing Ning Cheng say that he would not go to the Wunyan Academy, became anxious in her heart, and called out. Ning Cheng motioned to Yuying not to worry, and calmly said, "Yuying, going to the Wunyan Academy is the best thing for you. You can go to the Wunyan Academy and speak about your own matters. The Wunyan Academy will definitely help you. This kind of thing does not need to be concealed. I have my own matters. I think you are also clear about it. In the future, maybe I will go to the Wunyan Academy with Luo Fei to see you brother and sister." Despite Ning Cheng's explanation, Yuying was still somewhat anxious in her heart, and hastily said to the purple-robed woman, "Elder sister, although Big Brother Ning has a hybrid spiritual root, but his strength is amazing. He is absolutely not comparable to an ordinary essence-building cultivator. Moreover Big Brother Ning is." The purple-robed woman said in a light voice, "The reason why the Wunyan Academy is a big sect, is not because of the same level of strength as you can enter. The Wunyan Academy is more interested in potential, for a disciple with no potential, to be able to join the Wu Nian Academy's shop management, is already the best that I can do. Ning Cheng's strength was strong, she was clearer than Yu Ying. She did not see the scene of Ning Cheng killing the 2 essence-building cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy, but when Ning Cheng was robbing the mine, he had fought against 6 people. Initially she thought that Ning Cheng was at true condensation 3rd level, but now it seems that Ning Cheng was not at true condensation 3rd level, but rather true condensation 9th level. It was just that Ning Cheng had concealed his cultivation. As for why Ning Cheng could fight against 6 people at the same level, in addition to him concealing his cultivation, the others also underestimated him. It should be because of his comprehension of the axe intent. She was sure that Ning Cheng had comprehended a kind of axe intent in the Angry Axe Valley. Only having the ability to comprehend, without a greater potential, was not qualified to join the Wu Nian Academy. Even if one's comprehension was amazing, it would be impossible for one to fight against a profound congealing cultivator or even a profound core cultivator. Therefore, in a big sect, qualifications were the most important thing, followed by other things. Seeing that Yu Ying still wanted to say something, Ning Cheng quickly stopped Yu Ying's words. Yu Ying, if you return to the Hua continent first, then help me see Luofei. Later when you come to the Wu Nian Academy, cultivate. Ning Cheng knew that Yu Ying would definitely go to the Hua continent. Yu Ying had a pure white wind spiritual root, her big brother's spiritual root qualification was not worse than hers. The Wu Nian Academy had no reason to not want her brother. And, I will definitely go and see elder sister Luo Fei. As for this pearl hair clip, I will definitely keep it. Yu Ying took out the pearl hair clip, her heart suddenly felt somewhat reluctant. Being together with Ning Cheng, although they spent most of their time in cultivation, she liked that feeling very much. Let's go, the purple-robed woman said straightforwardly. Ruemu Danqin and Song Shua also came over to say their goodbyes to Ning Cheng. They were very clear that even if Ning Cheng was powerful, but with the cultivation of essence-building realm, it would be very difficult for him to go to the Luk continent by himself. Looking at the purple-robed woman and the middle-aged male cultivator leaving with Yu Ying and the other 2 people, Ning Cheng was somewhat puzzled. There were so many spiritual grass hills here, yet this purple-robed woman actually did not care about it. Meng Jingxiu was not at all disappointed. She could see the doubts in Ning Cheng's eyes, and took the initiative to speak up, because there are too many good things in here. With the strength of the Wu Nian Academy, I don't think that they would care about these low-leveled spiritual grasses, right? Brother Ning, I'm also going to look for some spiritual grasses. Situyu seeing Yu Ying and the others leave, came over and said. Ning Cheng patted Situyu's shoulder and said, go ahead, if anyone dares to snatch your spiritual grasses, then you can come and find me. Situyu was overjoyed in his heart. What he wanted to hear were these words. With Ning Cheng killing 2 essence-building cultivators from the Red Heaven Academy, there really would not be anyone who would dare to find trouble with Situyu and the others. Seeing Situyu leave, Meng Jingxiu took the initiative to speak up. Senior apprentice brother Ning, should we go to another place, or should we go and get some spiritual grasses from these hills? Ning Cheng gave a smile and said, since we are already here, of course we should first get some spiritual grasses. This place is just what I want. The spiritual grasses in this place were surrounded by the angry axe killing intent outside the hills, and he had comprehended the angry axe killing intent. Ning Cheng believed that with his own ability, he would be able to break through the angry axe killing intent in this place. If it really did not work, then he would just have to find some people to form a team with. Ning Cheng took Meng Jingxiu and left. The rest of the surrounding cultivators also dispersed. Each of them went to look for spiritual grass hills, looking for a way to break through the killing intent of these hills. As for the matter of the Red Heaven Academy's disciples being killed, in this Angry Axe Valley, it was obviously not a big deal. Even if they wanted to find Ning Cheng to settle accounts, it would be a matter for them after they left the Angry Axe Valley. Let's choose this one. Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu stood in front of a verdant green hill and said. Meng Jingxiu gave an "n" sound, and was about to bring out her halberd. He saw that many cultivators had brought out their magical weapons, and then relied on the killing force of their magical weapons to resist these spiritual grass hills. Ning Qing stopped Meng Jingxiu and said, "You follow behind me. If you rely on your magical weapons to resist the angry axe killing intent here, then the two of us will definitely not be able to break through this hill. I will try it out by myself first." Ning Qing took a few steps forward. When he approached the hill, a powerful and continuous killing intent suddenly crashed down on him. If he was caught off guard, then perhaps he would have been smashed into slag by this killing intent. Meng Jingxiu followed behind Ning Qing. The killing intent that was being emitted from the hill was completely blocked by Ning Qing, as such she was not even aware of it. Just when she was puzzled, she saw Ning Qing's entire body start to tremble. Not waiting for her to open her mouth to ask, Ning Qing suddenly brought out his golden great axe and chopped it down. A pale golden axe trace appeared in front of Meng Jingxiu's eyes, as if it was cutting through the sky. Meng Jingxiu sluggishly looked at this golden axe trace, and was still in a daze in her heart. Didn't Ning Qing say that he could not rely on his magical weapons to attack? Why did he want to attack? At this time, Ning Qing did not remember that he had once said such words, as he once again returned to the scene in the Angry Axe Valley. It was as if there were countless axe traces filled with a powerful axe intent bombarding his consciousness. If he did not resist, then he would end up like that Lan Yuqin, and would eventually be killed by this powerful axe intent. His resistance was completely subconscious. Because Ning Qing had killed 4 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy, and also had his companions taken away by the Lu Continent's Wunyan Academy. For all the people here, Ning Qing could be considered as a celebrity. Every move that he made was noticed by some people. Some people saw that Ning Qing was trying to break through the killing intent in front of the spiritual grass hills, but did not care about it. The people who had just arrived here had already done such a thing, so when the killing intent surged out, the people who did such a thing would know how stupid they were, and would take the initiative to retreat, and then look for other people to team up with them. But these people who were paying attention to Ning Qing did not think that Ning Qing not only did not retreat, but instead brought out his own magical weapon. Some of the people could not even bear to look at it. As long as they retreated, it would not be a problem. Once they brought out their magical weapon to confront the killing intent in this place, then it would only be courting death. Before, there were several essence-building cultivators who relied on their own strength, but now they did not even have their bones left. It was because they dared to bring out their magical weapons to confront the killing intent in this place. Ning Qing bringing out his golden great axe to confront the killing intent in this place was not an impulsive action. He had already encountered this kind of situation in the real Angry Axe Valley. He vaguely understood that the axe intent that he had comprehended and the killing intent in this place had already formed a resonance, which made him completely different from the others. If he retreated, then it was very likely that he would be killed by the axe intent of this hill. The axe intent of the Angry Axe Valley was all about moving forward, and never retreating. Ka! A very light and almost inaudible sound rang out, which was something that no one expected. Ning Qing's axe intent was very formidable. According to reason, his axe intent should have caused a huge explosion of true essence, and then Ning Qing would have been killed by the formidable killing intent. But they did not expect that Ning Qing's axe intent would only cause a very slight sound. If one did not concentrate, then they would not even be able to hear this sound. A vague idea arose in Ning Qing's consciousness. This kind of feeling flashed by. Ning Qing did not even have time to catch it, before it disappeared. Ning Qing sighed. He understood that this was definitely a new kind of axe intent, but unfortunately the axe intent in this place could not be compared to the real Angry Axe Valley. As such he unexpectedly could not catch it. After this vague feeling disappeared, Ning Qing felt that the killing intent in front of him had suddenly disappeared. It was as if an invisible road had appeared in front of him. The killing intent has disappeared. Let's quickly go in and collect the spiritual grasses. Ning Qing said in a pleasantly surprised voice. He had not thought that with just a simple axe, he would be able to split open the killing intent barrier in front of the spiritual grass hill. Hey, he was not strangled by the killing intent, rather he went in. As soon as Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu entered the hill, they were immediately noticed by some people. Some of the greedy people hurriedly rushed in. Their thinking was very simple. They did not want to snatch the high-leveled spiritual grasses from Ning Cheng, but they wanted to snatch the low-leveled spiritual grasses that Ning Cheng did not want. But these people had not even rushed to the foot of the hill, when they were immediately blown away by the formidable killing intent. The killing intent in front of the hill is still there. How did they get in? After some people understood this point, they immediately called out in horror. Before all the hills, only after the killing intent was blasted away by the combined imposing manner of the many cultivators, only then would they be able to enter. Moreover, once the killing intent was blasted away, the killing intent in this place would also dissipate. But it was completely different from what Ning Cheng was doing. He had only used his axe to split open the killing intent in front of the hill, but it did not make the killing intent in this place disappear. I understand, he has comprehended the axe intent of the Angry Axe Valley, as such he can use this axe intent to blast open the killing intent. None of the cultivators here were stupid. Previously when Ning Cheng had used his axe technique, it was obvious that he had grasped a very formidable axe-type killing intent. Now that Ning Cheng had used the same axe trace to blast open the killing intent barrier in front of the spiritual grass hill, it was not difficult to think of this. That's right, it is exactly like this. Originally the best way to resist the killing intent in front of the hill is to comprehend the axe intent here, rather than relying on the imposing manner of the people to win. Immediately some people understood how to break open the killing intent in front of the hill. Some of the cultivators even found a hill with a killing intent barrier, as they sat down and closed their eyes to carefully comprehend it. But at this time Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu were wantonly collecting the spiritual grasses. The spiritual grasses in this place were very rich, but there were only 2 people collecting them. This was simply the dream of Ning Cheng. There was only a single thought in his mind, and that was to wait until he got out of this place, then he would finally have the spiritual grasses for alchemy. Chapter 146. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, why don't you even let go of some rank 1 and 2 spiritual grasses? Meng Jingxiu saw that as long as Ning Cheng found a spiritual grass, he would definitely collect it, and simply did not care about the grades. In fact, there were too many good things in the hill. There were level 1 spiritual herbs to level 4 spiritual herbs. There were even some level 5 spiritual herbs. Ning Cheng smiled and spoke, I am ready to learn alchemy, so these spiritual grasses are useful to me. You want to learn alchemy? Meng Jingxiu stared at Ning Cheng with wide eyes, and only reacted after a long while. It was because she knew how difficult refining pills was that she was so amazed. Not to mention the countless spiritual herbs and resources needed for alchemy, which was not something that ordinary people could afford. Even the innate conditions for alchemy were not something that anyone could do. The best spirit root for alchemy was the main fire spirit root, with wood spirit root as a supplement. Moreover, the spirit root could not be too mixed. Apart from that, he also needed to have an extremely strong talent in alchemy. Because of this, in the entire I Xing mainland, there were very few alchemy masters. Moreover, advanced level alchemy masters were even rarer. Ning Cheng seemed to have known that Meng Jingxiu would have such an attitude, and did not care about it, as he casually spoke, you can give me the low-leveled spiritual grasses, I will need them for alchemy. Meng Jingxiu had already calmed down, and also gave a smile, I don't want spiritual grasses, I didn't come here for spiritual grasses, I will give these spiritual grasses to you. Meng Jingxiu's words caused Ning Cheng to feel a bit embarrassed. He wanted to explain, but after some thought, he decided against it. Meng Jingxiu really did not have any use for spiritual grasses. I've always been alone, so I'm a bit of a loner. I don't know the right way to speak or do things. Previously in the Moz Grand Plaza, I hope that Senior Apprentice Brother Ning does not mind. Meng Jingxiu had always wanted to sincerely apologize to Ning Cheng, but now that she heard Ning Cheng say that he wanted to learn alchemy, this kind of funny words, her mood immediately relaxed, and instead spoke it out. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. I did not have a good impression of you before, but after I saw that your magical weapon was a halberd, I knew that you were a straightforward person, so I did not mind it at all. Actually, you should smile more. You look much prettier when you smile. Ning Cheng came from Earth. Praising a woman for her beauty was a very normal thing. It did not necessarily mean that he would like others. Meng Jingxiu's skin was slightly dark, and she was indeed very beautiful. In the past, she had always kept a straight face. Now that she had more smiles on her face, it was normal for her to display her feminine charm. Meng Jingxiu's face turned slightly red, as she lowered her head and did not speak. Although she was confident that she was not ugly, but she knew that the reason Ning Cheng said that she was beautiful was not because he liked her. This woman's intuition could not be expressed in words. Furthermore, there were too many things that she had to do. Finding a partner was simply impossible. Oh, for essence-raising fruits. Ning Cheng casually said a sentence, as he had already put this matter to one side. What attracted him was the row of 4 elemental-raising fruits. Generally, an essence-raising fruit would only bear 1 fruit per plant. Moreover, the branches of the essence-raising fruit were very small, like an ordinary blade of grass. The essence-raising fruit was the main spiritual fruit used to refine the essence-building Dan. Previously, because Ruemu Danchin had obtained an essence-raising fruit, she had almost provoked a fatal disaster. With the discovery of the essence-raising fruit, more and more spiritual grasses began to appear. The heaven-scented precious zoysia, returning boat flower, gyroscopic luo root, mist G orchid and many other precious spiritual grasses were all discovered by Ning Cheng. Seeing the heaven-fragrant precious zoysia, Ning Cheng immediately remembered an Yi who was still in the Falling Star Academy. At that time, in order to find a heaven-fragrant precious zoysia, she had gone through a lot of hardships, but now he actually managed to obtain one. The Zhou Huanhua flower could be considered as a pill that could be refined for the cultivation of an essence-building cultivator. But the declivity luo root and the mist orchid were very amazing. Especially the declivity luo root, although its rank was not as high as the mist orchid, but it was a rank 4 spiritual grass of the best quality. This kind of spiritual grass could be used to refine the divine camel pill. The divine camel pill was a rank 4 true pill. When a low-leveled cultivator was cultivating, once they were distracted, then the divine camel pill would be the best pill. The spiritual grasses on this hill were enough to fill up Ning Cheng's 2 storage bags. Of course, this also included the ones that Meng Jingxiu had given him. Meng Jingxiu only kept a very small part of the spiritual grasses that she might use, and gave the rest to Ning Cheng. This place is really good, junior apprentice Sister Jingxiu. Let's change to another hill and continue. Ning Cheng rubbed his hands, as he looked forward to the Angry Axe Valley. Meng Jingxiu gave an N sound, and hesitated for a moment before saying, Senior apprentice brother Ning, why don't we first go to the place that I mentioned? Although there are many spiritual grasses here, but they are all low-leveled spiritual grasses. Because of the changes that occurred in the Angry Axe Valley, I am afraid that we might not be able to go to that place, and would already be transmitted out. Ning Cheng immediately recovered from the thought of collecting countless spiritual grasses, and felt that what Meng Jingxiu said was not without reason. Who knows when the Angry Axe Valley would suddenly be transmitted out? Thinking till here, he cautiously asked, Junior apprentice Sister Jingxiu, what kind of place is this in the Angry Axe Valley? Moreover, how did you know about this place? Meng Jingxiu did not have the time to answer. When Ning Cheng felt as if the surroundings had suddenly turned violent, this kind of feeling made Ning Cheng feel an extreme sense of danger. He simply did not have the time to think about it, as he directly grabbed Meng Jingxiu, and his whole body turned into a shadow, as he flew out of the hill. Meng Jingxiu, who was being held by Ning Cheng, immediately knew that something had happened, as such she did not dare to move at all. Sure enough, the next moment a terrible explosion erupted at the place where the 2 of them were standing. Bang! A terrible explosion sounded from behind Ning Cheng, as a formidable impact force directly hit Ning Cheng's back, causing the clothes on Ning Cheng's back to be torn to shreds. Bang! A sound rang out, as Ning Cheng was directly hit by the formidable explosive force and fell into an abandoned pit in the distance, as he was pressed together with Meng Jingxiu. Meng Jingxiu's injuries had not yet completely healed, so when she was hit by Ning Cheng, she immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Although Ning Cheng was at essence building first level, but his true essence was incomparably vigorous, although the clothes on his back were blown to shreds, but he was not injured at all. He picked up Meng Jingxiu and said in an apologetic tone, "I don't know what happened a moment ago, but the hill that we were standing on suddenly exploded. I did not pay attention, and let you get injured again." Meng Jingxiu stood up, as she wiped the blood from the corners of her mouth and said, "I'm fine, if not for you a moment, perhaps I would not have been able to come out." All the people were looking at the hill that Ning Cheng was standing on in amazement. At this time the hill had already disappeared, and had even turned into a deep pit. That kind of terrifying explosive force, even if it was given to any cultivator with the cultivation of essence building realm, they would not be able to withstand it. In other words, if they had been there to collect spiritual grasses, then they would have already died by now. Several of the essence-building cultivators were just about to come over and ask Ning Cheng what had happened, when a few more violent explosions sounded out. 2 more hills suddenly exploded, but this time the cultivators inside the hills were not as lucky as Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu. In addition to more than a dozen cultivators who managed to rush out, the cultivators inside the hills, or the cultivators nearby, did not manage to escape, as all of them turned into dust under the violent explosions. The cultivators who were still looking for spiritual grasses, or the cultivators who were still teaming up to break open the hills, immediately retreated. Sure enough, these cultivators had not gone far, when more and more hills began to explode. Finally, it formed into a continuous imposing manner, as the roaring sounds continued without end. Some of the cultivators who were not able to escape in time, were affected by the explosions in batches, and ended up falling. "Sure enough, we escaped early." Ning Cheng spoke with a lingering fear in his heart. If he had been even a little bit slower, then perhaps he would have already fallen under the explosions. But there was still a sentence that he did not say, that was, these explosions definitely had a reason. It was impossible for them to explode continuously without any reason, and blow up all the hills that had not yet been able to collect the spiritual grasses. The smoke and gravel and dust from the explosions had completely covered the entire area. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept toward Situ Yu and the others, and found that they were not in any danger, causing him to feel a bit relieved. The Angry Axe Valley, it is the Angry Axe Valley, the Angry Axe Valley has appeared. An incoherent voice sounded out. This voice immediately attracted the attention of all the people. Immediately more and more people began to call out incoherently. They really were able to see the Angry Axe Valley. Ning Cheng and Meng Jingxiu also clearly saw a huge valley in front of them. This valley looked as if it had been carved out by an axe. It was flat and smooth. A trace of killing intent leaked out, causing people to feel a chill run down their spines. But Ning Cheng vaguely felt that this Angry Axe Valley was somewhat different from the Angry Axe Valley that he had seen when he first came here, but as to what was different, he could not say it. The cultivators, who were initially depressed because of the flattened spiritual grass hill, became excited again. The hill was flattened, but the Angry Axe Valley actually appeared. This was simply a real opportunity. As long as he could comprehend a little bit of axe intent in the Angry Axe Valley, it would be a great trump card in the future. Did they not see the early-stage essence-building cultivator who had comprehended a trace of axe intent, kill 2 essence-building experts from the Red Heaven Academy? There was even one who was at essence-building 7th level. What did he rely on? This was the axe intent. Senior apprentice Brother Ning, I seem to feel a kind of killing intent. Meng Jingxiu also spoke up in a pleasantly surprised voice. Her halberd technique had an incomparably imposing manner, but she felt that it lacked a kind of concept. This kind of concept was the real killing intent. In other words, the halberd intent. If she could comprehend the halberd intent here, then her combat prowess would increase by more than 1-fold. Ning Cheng saw that countless people were rushing towards the Angry Axe Valley, and also nodded, "You quickly go in, I'll come back to look for you in a while." "Senior apprentice brother Ning, are you not going in?" Meng Jingxiu asked as she looked at Ning Cheng in doubt. "I can feel the axe intent here, I can feel it." Ning Cheng quickly said. He could feel that this axe valley was somewhat similar to the axe valley that he had seen before, but it was definitely different. This axe valley looked very flat, but when one used their spiritual consciousness to observe the surroundings, one would find that the axe trace was surrounded by countless tiny cracks. But Ning Cheng, from these cracks, was able to vaguely feel the third kind of axe intent that he had previously felt. Chapter 147. He stared at the spot where Ning Cheng had disappeared into the axe valley for a long time, before he turned around and walked away. This was the first person who saw the angry axe valley, but did not enter it. "I really do not know you." When the angry axe valley appeared, I and a few of my companions came here to comprehend the axe intent. My companions were looking for spiritual grasses, and I just happened to be able to comprehend a trace of axe intent, so I decided to stay behind. This true condensation 5th level cultivator saw that Ning Cheng's expression did not seem to be fake, and took the initiative to explain. At the same time, he was puzzled. Was this person really that powerful? But why haven't I heard of him? For Ning Cheng, as long as he understood this truth, then the following matters would be much easier to handle. He was once again immersed in the cracks of these axe traces. As for the fake axe valley in the middle of these cracks, it had long since been abandoned by him. An axe trace appeared out of thin air, as it formed in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness. This axe trace crack, which was originally destroyed by the axe valley, connected the cracks on both sides of the axe valley. Ning Cheng rushed all the way. This axe valley was unexpectedly very long. Even with his spiritual consciousness he was simply unable to sweep to the end. After another half a day, Ning Cheng finally saw a living cultivator. "Friend, may I ask if you have seen my companion? Did the rest of the people here go to the front?" Ning Cheng directly landed in front of the cultivator. Ning Cheng did not open his eyes, as he once again used his spiritual consciousness to investigate the axe valley. Suddenly, Ning Cheng's entire body trembled. He could feel a kind of mysterious thing. Meng Jingxiu did not need to explain the following words. Ning Cheng also understood that this Meng Jingxiu really did not know how to speak. "Can't you just say that I don't want to go in?" Why did he have to say such offensive words? Furthermore, he was speaking so valiantly. This cultivator was at true condensation 5th level. When he saw Ning Cheng's imposing manner, he knew that he was far from being Ning Cheng's opponent, and immediately stared at Ning Cheng, and spoke in a slow voice, "I do not know you, so how would I know who your companion is?" In the angry axe valley, one could not even see the shadow of a person. All the people, in order to comprehend the axe intent in the valley, had already gone deep into the valley. To be precise, the only one outside was Ning Cheng. "You don't know me?" Ning Cheng asked with a frown. The twisted axe shadow exploded on the ground, and a clear and smooth axe scar appeared. The edges of the axe traces were also innumerable twisted veined lines, just like the tiny cracks around the huge axe valley. Just when Ning Cheng was about to clearly perceive the third angry axe's axe intent, the innumerable cracks in the surroundings of the axe valley suddenly broke off in Ning Cheng's consciousness, and no longer had the kind of coherence that he had seen a moment ago. The more Ning Cheng wanted to link this axe intent together, the more he found it difficult. But Ning Cheng soon felt that something was wrong. Almost all of the cultivators who died here did not fall because they were comprehending the axe intent, but rather because they were fighting with each other. The crack marks gradually became clear, while the axe intent also slowly emerged. Although the axe trace that Ning Cheng simulated in his sea of consciousness was different from the original, but it was more of a reflection of Ning Cheng's own imagination of the angry axe, third move. A tearing and twisting axe shadow blasted out. This twisting axe shadow directly turned all the fist-sized things in the surroundings into powder, while a clear trace of the twisting axe shadow appeared in the air. Around these marks, even smaller cracks appeared, just like the tiny lightning arcs that appeared around the main lightning bolt when the lightning bolt struck down. That true condensation 9th level cultivator who had been chasing Meng Jingxiu, on seeing Ning Cheng come over, moreover knowing that Meng Jingxiu was acquainted with him, couldn't help but curse a few times, before he turned around and walked away. "Why was that person chasing you a moment ago?" Ning Cheng pointed to the late-stage true condensation cultivator who had already retreated. Ning Cheng quickly entered the valley. He wanted to see how Meng Jingxiu's comprehension of the axe intent was. If she had already comprehended it, then they would be able to get down to business. If she did not comprehend it, then he would persuade her to leave. This was a fake axe valley, as such there was no axe intent that could be comprehended. "I know, thank you." Saying that, Ning Cheng sped up his pace, and instantly disappeared into the depths of the axe valley. This kind of feeling made him unable to believe it. He finally opened his eyes, and stared at the axe valley for a long time, before he slowly breathed a sigh of relief. Once again closing his eyes, he let the dissipated axe intent once again gather together. He had killed 4 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy, and even refused the invitation of the Wu Nian Academy. How could there be someone who did not know him? This true condensation cultivator shook his head and spoke, "I don't know what this spiritual grass hill is. It is definitely a best quality spiritual artifact, moreover we are still outside the immortal cave, but the entrance of the immortal cave is exuding such a rich spiritual qi, it can be seen that there are even better things inside the immortal cave." Meng Jingxiu said with a slightly flushed face. If Ning Cheng was here, he would certainly be able to recognize that this cultivator was the same King Ho. This kind of contradictory thing, there was only one explanation, that is, there was no axe valley here, but there was a formidable axe intent that caused the cracks in the axe traces. These cracks were originally connected together, but he did not know why, but a peerless powerhouse came here, and deliberately split these cracks in the axe traces, and created an angry axe valley. In fact, it was the axe line cracks that appeared here, and then the axe valley appeared, which was the exact opposite of what most people thought. "Did you not come here from the spiritual grass hill?" Ning Cheng once again asked. Ning Cheng put away his axe, and closed his eyes for a long time, before he hung the golden great axe on his back and said to himself, "This is my angry axe's 3rd type, axe line. Boom, best quality spiritual artifact." Ning Cheng was also shocked as he repeated the words. "What's going on?" Ning Cheng did not care about the cultivator who had turned around, as he asked Meng Jingxiu how she ended up in a conflict. It was reasonable to say that Meng Jingxiu had not fully recovered from her injuries, as such under normal circumstances she would not have a conflict with other people. Ning Cheng was a bit worried in his heart, although the people here knew of his name, but in case something even better appeared. But no one knew who Ning Cheng was, so they would not have a conflict with him, but the premise was that there was no precious thing that appeared. Once a precious thing appeared, then who would recognize Ning Cheng? After Ning Cheng walked for another 2 hours, he finally saw Meng Jingxiu. Meng Jingxiu was quickly rushing towards him, and behind her there seemed to be a true condensation 9th level cultivator chasing after her. Seeing Meng Jingxiu a bit embarrassed, Ning Cheng said, "Let's go and have a look. It has already been a few days. How is your comprehension of the axe intent?" As these cracks in Ning Cheng's consciousness became more and more complete, Ning Cheng's angry axe's 3rd type was also fully developed. He really did understand that the explosion should have been a big change in the angry axe valley, which caused this fake axe valley to be exposed. So many cultivators who entered the angry axe valley saw this fake axe valley, and immediately entered the fake axe valley to try and comprehend the axe intent. The true condensation cultivator that he had seen a moment ago, did not come from his direction. Meng Jingxiu quickly said, "A lot of true condensation cultivators formed a team to enter, there were also 3 of them, and they wanted to pull me into their team. I ignored them, but that person invited me again, I was not in the mood, so I directly said, and told him to take a piss and look at himself." Ning Cheng himself did not know how many days had passed, but in his consciousness, the cracks in the fake axe valley were not completely connected, and could not transform into the real angry axe killing intent. If these cracks could not be connected, then he would not be able to comprehend the third form of the axe intent. Meng Jingxiu shook her head, and took out a few spiritual grasses and said, "There are a lot of spiritual grasses here, I managed to get some of them, moreover there is also a rainbow light grass that Sang Shua was looking for, but the axe intent has not made any progress at all." Meng Jingxiu anxiously said, "Senior apprentice brother Ning, I found an ancient immortal cave here, moreover it is the immortal cave of a peerless powerhouse, many people have already entered it." Soon he stood up, and his complexion was extremely ugly, as he muttered to himself, "This person's progress is simply too astonishing, not only does he have the cultivation of essence building realm, but he even managed to comprehend the axe intent in the Angry Axe Valley. I'm afraid that I am not his opponent." Because Ning Cheng had already comprehended the second form of the axe intent, after trying to comprehend it for a few days, he finally understood this truth. The immortal cave of a peerless powerhouse. How do you know? Ning Cheng asked in a puzzled manner. When the axe intent completely formed an image in Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness, Ning Cheng leapt up without any warning, and immediately brought out the golden great axe from his back. All the people rushed into the axe valley, only Ning Cheng did not go in. He sat outside of the axe valley, and was completely immersed in the new axe intent. Ning Cheng had just left, when a shadow suddenly rose up from an inconspicuous mound of earth. This shadow quickly arrived at the axe trace that Ning Cheng had left behind, bent down, and carefully stroked the axe trace for a long time, and then put his hand under his nose and sniffed. After Ning Cheng entered the axe valley, he did not go far, but he could see many corpses along the way. Initially Ning Cheng did not care much about it. Comprehending the axe intent in this place was a very dangerous thing, it was not unusual for one to fall at any time. He finally understood what was going on, this axe valley was fake. But the numerous cracks around the axe valley were actually the cracks of the axe intent. In other words, the cracks were real, while the axe valley was fake. As time passed by, the hustle and bustle of the place had long since disappeared. Only Ning Cheng, who was still sitting outside of the axe valley, was surrounded by the axe intent, just like before the explosion, when the hill was surrounded by the killing intent. The traces of the axe intent gradually formed in Ning Cheng's consciousness. Senior apprentice brother Ning. Meng Jingxiu on seeing Ning Cheng was immediately overjoyed, and quickly landed beside Ning Cheng. Meng Jingxiu quickly spoke, "I don't know what happened to the array formation that was arranged outside the immortal cave, but it suddenly fell apart. Some of the array flags that were used to arrange the array formation were exposed. Do you know what those array flags were? The lowest was a low-grade spiritual artifact, and there were even high-grade spiritual artifacts used as array flags. An essence-building cultivator from the Feng province even managed to snatch a best-quality spiritual artifact array flag." Chapter 148. Meng Jingxiu was not talking nonsense. When Ning Cheng and her arrived at the entrance of the immortal cave, there were already about 1,000 or 2,000 people gathered here. The entrance of the immortal cave could be seen as a small public square, and even with so many people here, it did not seem crowded at all. "Junior apprentice sister Jingxiu, I remember that there were more than these people here, moreover there were also people from other places, how could there only be these people?" Ning Cheng did not feel that there were too many people here, on the contrary, he felt that there were too few people here. Meng Jingxiu pointed to a huge stone door in front of the temporary public square and said, "Don't look at this stone door as if it does not have any kind of barrier, without a certain level of strength, you simply cannot go in, it is the same as the hill that we went through before, it is blocked by a layer of killing intent." Some of the people who understand array formation said that this stone door is not a simple killing intent barrier, but rather a killing intent restriction. Just relying on the imposing manner of the people here would not be able to break it open, moreover the time that I have been here is not short, moreover the people who went in are all cultivators with very high cultivation levels, and have an understanding of restrictions as well as a bit of axe intent cultivator. Ning Cheng nodded, although this stone door was not blocked by a real boulder, but there was a much more powerful killing intent compared to the outside of the hill. What Meng Jingxiu said was not wrong. This killing intent was not formed randomly, but rather it was arranged according to a certain pattern of an array formation. If not for a long time, the killing intent would have dissipated, and the restriction would have been damaged. Ordinary essence building cultivators, even if they formed a team of 4, they would not be able to go in. As for the rest of the people, after probing that this is not a place that they can go in, they all left. Some went to other places, some went into the depths of the Angry Axe Valley. Meng Jingxiu pointed to the Angry Axe Valley and added, "Let me have a look." Ning Qing said as he arrived in front of the stone door. In front of the stone door there were 4 true condensation cultivators working together to break the killing intent restriction. Ning Qing, seeing this, simply stood to the side, waiting for these 4 people to fail, then he would try again. These 4 people were all late-stage true condensation cultivators. After trying several times and failing, one of them finally lost his patience, and directly brought out a magic weapon to attack. Bang! This person's magic weapon hit the empty door, but it did not break through. Instead it was bounced back by the restriction on the door, and with a strong speed it once again smashed into the chest of that cultivator. This cultivator was sent flying by his own magic weapon, and spat out several mouthfuls of blood in the air, causing the cultivators on both sides to retreat. Another few dozen people quietly left the square. Seeing this, the 3 companions of the cultivator who had been sent flying also moved aside for the time being. Ning Qing did not care about the 4 people who just left, and directly stood at the entrance of the gate, while simultaneously bringing out his golden great axe. Some of the people who knew Ning Qing immediately stepped aside. Many of the people who did not know Ning Qing secretly shook their heads. Just a moment ago, someone had forcibly attacked the door, and was seriously injured by the killing intent, yet this guy still dared to bring out a magical weapon. For this killing intent restriction, severely injuring someone was already a light punishment. Ning Qing did not directly attack, as his spiritual consciousness fell onto the open door, and immediately sensed the crisscrossing axe intent. At the same time, there was a kind of imprisonment that bound the axe intents within the scope of the door. In just a short time, Ning Qing understood that this place was indeed a killing intent restriction. Moreover, this killing intent restriction had indeed been around for a very long time, and its power was not even 1/100th of its original power. If this killing intent restriction still had 1/10 of its power, then no one would be able to enter. "Get out of the way, I want to go in." A rough voice interrupted Ning Qing's thoughts. Ning Qing looked back and saw 3 essence-building cultivators, and the one who spoke was at essence-building 5th level, with a fierce face and a valiant demeanor. Behind him, there were 2 cultivators, a man and a woman. The man had a slender appearance, and was a pretty boy, with the cultivation of essence-building 6th level. The female cultivator was wearing a red robe, and turned out to be a very beautiful young girl, and also had the cultivation of essence-building 6th level. "You can go in, but you will have to wait for me to go in first. There is always an order of arrival." Ning Qing looked at the 3 people, and spoke in a flat tone. He was also standing in line, and was waiting for the 4 people in front of him to fail, only then would it be his turn to open the restriction. Now that he had not even started, why should he give up his position to others? Many of the people on the side knew the origins of these 3 people, and some of them began to sneer. "This guy really does not know life from death. He even dares to compete with the people from the White Moon Sword Sect and the Twin Polarity Academy. That young girl should be the White Moon Sword Sect's Helian Gulan, right? The ones beside her are definitely the Twin Polarity Academy's Wushu and Zhuahong Xian. If it really is these 3 people, then this person really is courting death." Some of the people on the side echoed. Some of the people who knew Ning Qing immediately spoke up in a gloating tone. "Who is courting death? You will know in a moment. That Twin Polarity Academy is just similar to the Red Heaven Academy. What's going on? Does this person have a great background? Are you courting death? This father will split you." When this ugly-looking cultivator heard Ning Qing's words, he immediately flew into a rage, as he raised his hand, and a gong immediately appeared in his hand. The young girl in the red robe frowned and said, "Hong Xian, there is indeed an order of arrival. After he has tried it, it would not be too late for us to try it. We have also just arrived here. If this place was so easy to open, then there would not be so many people leaving." When the ugly-looking man called Hong Xian heard the words of this young girl, the anger on his face instantly calmed down. "What junior apprentice Sister Gu Lan said is true, I will listen to you." Saying that, he angrily called out to Ning Cheng, "Hurry up, we do not have the time to wait for you." Ning Cheng was too lazy to pay attention to him, and said to Meng Jingxiu, "Junior apprentice Sister Jingxiu, let's go in." "Senior apprentice Brother Ning, can you open this place?" Meng Jingxiu asked in a pleasantly surprised voice. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile and said, "Of course." Saying that, he raised his hand and grabbed an array flag, while simultaneously raising the golden great axe in his hand. "Friend, please wait a moment." An eager voice rushed over, calling out to Ning Cheng who was about to start. "What do you want?" Ning Cheng looked at the cultivator who had just arrived and asked. This was a cultivator who was already at Essence Building 7th level. When this cultivator came over, even that arrogant ugly-looking man, unconsciously moved to the side. He could only vaguely see Ning Cheng's cultivation, but this cultivator was undoubtedly at Essence Building 7th level. He was only at Essence Building 5th level, compared to Essence Building 7th level, there was a gap of 2 levels. In the Yixing mainland, the strong were respected. This was a principle that was applicable everywhere. "I have seen you twice, it is possible that you do not remember me. The first time we were mining together, but I was busy mining, and did not have the time to greet you. The second time was when I was looking for spiritual grasses in front of the hill, so I am more familiar with you." This Essence Building 7th level cultivator was very polite, and spoke to Ning Cheng in a very polite manner. Ning Cheng nodded. The first words that this person spoke were completely polite words. When they were mining, it was not that he did not have the time to greet him, but rather he disdained to talk nonsense with a person like him. As for the hill, he had killed 4 disciples of the Red Heaven Academy, including a cultivator at Essence Building 7th level. Moreover, he had used the killing intent to break open the hill as if it was light, so this person must have seen it. Perhaps this person came here to borrow the way, although the killing intent restriction on the stone door was already damaged, but if one did not understand the axe intent and restrictions, then even if one was at Essence Building 9th level, they would not be able to enter. After this person finished, he did not wait for Ning Cheng to speak, as he directly threw out a storage bag towards Ning Cheng and said, "These are some of my ores, how about this friend take a look?" Ning Cheng took the storage bag, and found that there were 1,000 high-grade spirit stones inside. 1,000 high-grade spirit stones for an essence-building cultivator, this was not a small amount of wealth. But after Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept through the storage bag, he still returned the storage bag to the cultivator. He understood the meaning of the opposite party. This was the Angry Axe Valley, and wanted to use 1,000 high-grade spirit stones to enter an ancient immortal mansion. This was simply too cheap. Besides, this person had been mining in the Angry Axe Valley for a long time, so he should have at least tens of thousands of high-grade spirit stones on him. So many spirit stones, but he only took out a trifling 1,000, it would be strange if Ning Cheng was willing to accept it. Moreover, for Ning Cheng, 1,000 high-grade spirit stones simply did not have any effect on him. Seeing the somewhat surprised look on this person's face, Ning Cheng said in a light voice, "This is an ancient immortal mansion, the best quality spiritual artifacts outside the immortal mansion are worth more than tens of thousands of high-grade spirit stones. You only took out these things, and want to enter the immortal mansion, it really is too." This essence-building cultivator suddenly came to understand, Ning Cheng was also mining in that place, a trifling 1,000 high-grade spirit stones was really not enough for him. Thinking till here, he put away the storage bag, and once again took out a storage bag and handed it to Ning Cheng and said, "The things in here, do you want to take a look?" Ning Cheng took the storage bag, and found that the things inside were really a lot more. there were more than 10,000 high-grade spirit stones, moreover there were also many spiritual grasses, the total value added up to nearly 30,000 high-grade spirit stones. Double the number of things, and you can go in. Ning Qing once again returned the storage bag to the essence building cultivator. Among the cultivators in the Angry Axe Valley, Ning Qing estimated that the number of things that he had obtained was not much. He had always been in closed-door cultivation, and these people were wandering around everywhere, who knew how many good things they had obtained. If he did not take this opportunity to compensate himself, then when would he be able to? Besides, this was just a small fee. After the other people entered the immortal mansion, perhaps they would be able to get back more than 10 times the original amount. This essence-building cultivator clenched his teeth, and once again took out some spirit stones and spiritual grasses and handed them over to Ning Qing. This time Ning Qing put them away, and then cupped his fists and said, "I can open the killing intent restriction on this stone door. Once the stone door is opened, 4 people can go in at the same time. Now there is still one less. If you want to go in, then you can come up and say a few words." The actions of this essence-building 7th-level cultivator actually made Ning Qing think of a way to quickly earn spirit stones and spiritual grasses. Because he did not have any spirit stones, when he had advanced to the essence-building realm, he had borrowed 10,000 to 20,000 spirit stones from Yuing, and had not yet returned them to Yuing. In the future, if he wanted to repair himself, then he would need a terrifying amount of spirit stones. Where would he go to get these things? "Senior, I also want to go in." Another essence-building cultivator came over, and in his hands was also a bulging storage bag. Chapter 149. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept through the storage bag, and found that there were not many spirit stones inside, but there were a lot of spiritual grasses inside. Moreover, the grade of these spiritual grasses were not low. He immediately put away the storage bag and said, "Good, I'll also count you in." With the 2 essence-building cultivators taking the lead, some of the cultivators who knew about Ning Cheng's abilities came one after another, and wanted to give Ning Qing some things, just to enter this ancient immortal mansion. Many cultivators who didn't know Ning Qing couldn't understand the scene in front of them at all. What the hell was going on? If a person said that he could break this kind of killing intent restriction, would so many people believe it? One had to know that this was a killing intent restriction. Even if some of the essence-building cultivators joined hands, they would not be able to break it. Was it so easy to deceive people nowadays? In just a short period of time, Ning Cheng had already collected 7 or 8 storage bags. Seeing that there were still people coming from behind, Ning Cheng quickly spoke up, "Wait a minute, I will first open the stone door, and let the first person go in." "That's right, that's what we should do." The few cultivators who arrived earlier hurriedly agreed. They were afraid that the more people there were, the later they would enter. The girl in the red robe, who had tried to persuade the fierce-looking cultivator, suddenly came forward and spoke to Ning Cheng. "You said that you came first, so you have to go in first. Now that you have brought so many people, shouldn't these people be considered as cutting the queue? Don't tell me you don't mean what you say. If you really think we're easy to bully, then don't blame us for using force." Towards the end, the girl's tone had already turned cold. Ning Qing knew that if he let all the people on his side go in, then it would definitely be wrong. He hurriedly cupped his fists and said, "Then may I ask this young lady, how long do you need to open this stone door? Who's your sister? Watch your mouth." The red-robed girl had not yet replied, when the fierce-looking essence-building 5th-level cultivator next to her once again stepped forward, and spoke in a stern voice to Ning Cheng. The scarlet-robed girl waved her hand at the cultivator. She understood Ning Cheng's meaning, as she stared at Ning Cheng and spoke in a calm voice, "I want to go in, at most half an incense stick worth of time would be enough." She knew that if she said that she needed an hour, then Ning Cheng might also say that he needed an hour. She might as well keep the time short. Ning Cheng's mouth revealed a trace of a smile. This girl was simply bragging without any preparation. He had already comprehended 3 kinds of axe intents from the Angry Axe Valley. moreover his understanding of restrictions and array formations was also close to a level 3 expert, as such he was confident that he could open the killing intent restriction on this stone door. This young girl was definitely bragging when she said that it took half an incense stick's time. However, he still chuckled and said, "That's good, I also only need half an incense stick's worth of time. After half an incense stick's worth of time, no matter how many times I try to open this stone door, or even if it doesn't open even once, I will give this position to you, little sister." The girl in the red dress also revealed a trace of a smile. "Sure, you go first, I'll wait here." After saying that, she threw a stick of incense to the side, and with a flick of her hand, she lit the incense. When the surrounding cultivators smelled this aroma, they immediately became spirited. The people here were all knowledgeable. Everyone immediately knew that the stick of incense that this young girl threw out was not a simple stick of incense, but an expensive spirit-cleansing incense. Sure enough, he was rich and overbearing, using the spirit-cleansing incense to calculate the time. Ning Qing did not care about it, as he once again stood in front of the stone door, as he raised his hand and continuously waved out dozens of array flags. When these array flags completely disappeared from the surroundings of the door, Ning Qing immediately chopped out with his great axe, causing a pale golden axe trace to appear on the stone door in a very inconspicuous position. Ka, a subtle sound that was almost inaudible transmitted over. The people outside immediately felt that the killing intent restriction in front of the stone door seemed to have stagnated, and then a rich spiritual qi hit them in the face. Ning Qing took a step forward, as he raised his hand and pressed it in the middle of the stone door, as he turned his head and said, "The 4 people who paid first can go in." All the people were clear, that the killing intent restriction on this stone door had already opened a gap. The 4 essence-building cultivators who had been waiting for a long time, simply did not wait for Ning Qing to speak a second sentence, as their bodies flashed and disappeared into the door. The 5th cultivator who had also paid the spirit stones and spiritual grasses hesitated for a moment, and finally did not go in. He was afraid that if he went against Ning Qing's intentions, then he would be directly deprived of his qualifications. Anyway, the next group of people could still go in. All the cultivators at the entrance of the stone cave were completely shocked by Ning Qing. What kind of ability was this? Before, there were also people who had formed a team to go in. Every time they went in, it was as if they were struggling for their lives. How could it be as easy as Ning Qing? Just a dozen array flags, and then chopping them down with his great axe? Even those cultivators who already knew about Ning Qing's ability, could not believe it. They thought that even if Ning Qing could go in, he would have to expend a lot of effort. Many of the people were already thinking about how many spiritual grasses and spirit stones they had to collect, so that they could enter this ancient immortal cave. The red-robed girl was also staring at Ning Qing in shock. She did not think that she would not be able to break the killing intent restriction on this immortal cave, but even if she was able to break it, it would absolutely not be as easy as Ning Qing. The originally disdainful sneer in her eyes, at this time there was a slight change. After the 4 people went in, Ning Qing loosened his hand, and once again brought out his golden great axe, and chopped down with his great axe, and then turned to the other 4 cultivators who had paid the spirit stones and said, "You can go in." The 4 cultivators, on hearing Ning Qing's words, with their fastest speed they could rush into the stone door. Ning Qing let go of his palm, and raised his hand to put away the dozens of array flags, and then stood to the side and said to the red-robed girl, "The next half an incense stick worth of time is yours." At this time the red-robed girl had thrown out a stick of incense, and had only burnt a small half of it. On the surface, Ning Qing did not look like he had even the slightest bit of change, but in fact, only he himself knew that he had consumed too much of his spiritual consciousness. His hand was pressed on the top of the stone door, and was also resisting the killing intent restriction on the stone door. "Friend, these are my spirit stones, please give me a spot next time." A true condensation 9th level cultivator, on seeing Ning Qing easily let the 8 cultivators enter the ancient immortal cave, quickly took out a storage bag and placed it in front of Ning Qing with both hands. Ning Qing did not take the other party's storage bag. he just swept it with his spiritual consciousness, and spoke in a light voice, "To open this stone door, my consumption is not small. So the cost of entering the stone door is 50,000 high-grade spirit stones, or spiritual grasses of the same value, otherwise there is no need to talk about it." The entrance to the ancient immortal cave had a killing intent restriction, so it would be strange if there was no array formation restriction inside the ancient immortal cave. Ning Cheng was not in a hurry to go in, he urgently needed spirit stones for his cultivation, and he also urgently needed spiritual grasses for his alchemy, so he decided to fish for these things first. As for the things inside the immortal cave, as long as there was a restriction, then he would have a share of it. The surrounding cultivators all sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Just how many people here could come up with so many high-grade spirit stones? Besides the few people who found the spirit stone mine, only a very small number of core disciples from the 7-star academies and above would have such a possibility. Wasn't the entrance fee a bit too expensive? The red-robed girl nodded, and walked to the front of the stone door and said to the other two people, "I will first try to open this stone door." She thought that since Ning Cheng could open this stone door in the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, then she certainly would not have any problems. Before she came here, she had also heard that this stone door had a killing intent restriction. Although the other people were worried about the killing intent restriction, but she was not even half a bit worried. As a core disciple of the White Moon Sword sect, her understanding of sword intent was not something that an ordinary person could compare to. Even if it was regarding restrictions, she was still much stronger than an ordinary cultivator. The red-robed girl stood motionless in front of the stone door with her eyes closed. All the people present knew that she was looking for a gap in the killing intent restriction. When the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn was almost up, she suddenly opened her eyes. She found that the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn was too short for her. If she had the time it takes for a few dozen incense sticks to burn, then she might still be able to do it. But now that she had boasted about it, she simply did not have any leeway to turn it around. "Junior apprentice Sister Gulan, how is it?" The fierce-looking man hurriedly asked, and his tone seemed to be very concerned. Ning Cheng, who was watching from the side, could clearly see that after the red-robed girl opened her eyes, her brows were slightly wrinkled. It was evident that she had not found a way to break open the stone door. That gigolo was more cunning, and did not speak a single word at this time. "Let's attack here, let's do it together." When the red-robed girl heard the fierce-looking man's question, she suddenly pointed to a position on the stone door and spoke. Ning Cheng looked at that position, and secretly laughed in his heart. This girl could not find a better position, but also did not want to lose face. As such she pointed to the position where he had broken open the stone door twice before. "Junior apprentice Sister Gulan, if the three of us attack together, then I'm afraid that the power would be too great. Why don't I try to attack it by myself first?" The male cultivator, who had not spoken until now, suddenly opened his mouth, and spoke in an incomparably gentle tone. When the fierce-looking man heard the words of this male cultivator, he quickly followed up and spoke, "What Wu Shu said is right, let us try it out first. Wu Shu, although your cultivation is a bit higher than mine, but your true essence is not thick, let me try it alone." The male cultivator called Wu Shu unexpectedly nodded and said, "All right, junior apprentice brothers Hua Hong Xian is a brute force cultivator, maybe it really would have a miraculous effect." Saying that, he moved to the side, and the girl called Gulan also followed the pale-faced man and moved to the side. Ning Cheng secretly laughed in his heart. This person called Hua Hong Xian was sold by others, and still wanted to help count the money. Hua Hong Xian, on seeing the two people believe in him, immediately became even more confident, as he directly brought out the copper gong in his hands, and blasted it towards the position that the girl had pointed at. The copper gong brought with it an imposing manner and sound, and did not even pause for half a moment before it exploded on top of the empty stone door. Bang! An explosive sound similar to the sound of the copper gong sounded out. Some of the nearby cultivators almost covered their ears. This sound was really too terrifying. Almost after the bang sound, the copper gong that was thrown out by Zhuo Hongxian flew back at an even faster speed. The copper gong that was thrown out by Zhuo Hongxian directly exploded on Zhuo Hongxian's chest with a formidable killing intent. This kind of killing intent was something that even the nearby cultivators could feel. Zhuo Hongxian simply did not have even half a shred of ability to resist, and was directly thrown out by this formidable backlash from the copper gong. Poof! A bloody light streaked across, as Zhuo Hongxian's chest was cut open by the incomparably sharp edge of the copper gong, and a deep bloody mark appeared on it, as blood sprayed out like a fountain. That girl was greatly shocked in her heart, as she quickly rushed over, and raised her hand a few times, while simultaneously a few pills fell into Zhuo Hongxian's mouth. One had to say that the efficacy of this girl's pills was simply too amazing. In just a short period of time, Zhuo Hongxian's chest that was cut open had already stopped bleeding, and even Zhuo Hongxian was trembling as he stood up. What everyone did not expect was that the first thing that Zhuo Hongxian did after standing up, was unexpectedly to point at Ning Cheng and say in a hateful voice, "Son of a bitch, you dare to deceive me, Zhuo Hongxian." Chapter 150. The one with the lightest injury was actually the main attacker, Wu Shu. Wu Shu only suffered a small wound on his arm, which couldn't even be considered a light injury. Unlike the other cultivators, he didn't fly very far after being blasted away. He only flew a few dozen feet before falling to the ground. Bang! A sound emerged. Ning Cheng felt that all the shackles on his body had completely disappeared at this moment. He could not help but fall down, as he stood on top of a protruding blue brick. Seeing Wu Shu's incomparably anxious expression, the red-robed girl took the pill and said, "I'm fine. I've implicated you this time." Zhuo Hongxian was already seriously injured. This time, he was hit head-on once again. He fell to the ground, constantly vomiting blood, and could no longer get up. Meng Jingxiu finally understood, and quickly rushed through the stone door. Ning Cheng was the fourth to enter, and with a wave of his hand, he immediately took away all the array flags that he had thrown out. Ning Cheng suddenly broke out in a cold sweat, that is to say, other than the place where he was standing, if he casually took a step in any direction, he would fall into this endless black hole. Ning Cheng had already settled down his heart. If the person who arranged this place wanted them to die, then they would not have gone through so much trouble. There should be a special reason for them to teleport to this place. He then spoke to Meng Jingxiu, who was still in his arms. "Junior apprentice sister Jingxiu, with your cultivation in this place, there is no way for you to move by yourself. I'll carry you on my back later. You have to be careful." Seeing Wu Shu and junior sister Gu Lan comforting each other, Zhuo Hongxian, who was lying on the ground, also wanted to go and comfort his junior sister Gu Lan. Unfortunately, his injuries were too serious. The intense dizziness caused Meng Jingxiu's consciousness to turn somewhat fuzzy. Even Ning Cheng could only vaguely retain a bit of his consciousness. He was currently in the middle of a space transmission array. The surrounding cultivators had already understood that this person was trying to cut in front of them. Meng Jingxiu had already recovered, as she spoke in a gentle tone, "I know, senior apprentice brother Ning." When Zhuo Hongxian heard that Wu Shu wanted to join hands with junior sister Gu Lan, he became anxious and quickly said, "My injuries only prevent me from fighting. However, I can still use some strength to deal with this stone door restriction." The girl in the red dress didn't finish her sentence, but Wu Shu understood what she meant. If he had known this would happen, he would have spent some spirit stones to buy a ticket for that hateful fellow. At the same time that Meng Jingxiu stepped aside, this person's shadow had already arrived at the entrance of the stone door. This person's imposing manner was extremely strong, moreover his speed was also incomparably fast. Meng Jingxiu obviously was not able to react, as she subconsciously dodged to the side. Where did those people go? Meng Jingxiu discovered at this time that there was not a single person inside the circular room, that is to say, the people who had come in with them before were all gone. It doesn't matter. Let's try again. Wu Shu waited for the girl in the red dress to wrap up her wound and said. Ning Cheng put away his things, and spoke to the two cultivators standing behind him who had taken out their spirit stones. This time it will only be the four of us going in. When the door opens, you guys go in first. Junior Marshal sister and I will go in after you. Meng Jingxiu also sobered up at this time. As she discovered the situation around her, she asked in a trembling voice, Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, where did we get teleported to? Why is it so terrifying? His divine sense swept out, but he discovered that his divine sense was obstructed. It could only sweep out a certain range, and couldn't extend any further. Within the range of his divine sense, there was only darkness and emptiness. Not only that, but there seemed to be a suction force coming from these ravines. Idiot! Ning Cheng was speechless as he shook his head. At a glance he knew that this guy liked this girl called Gulan, but his IQ was worrying. It was obvious that this girl did not have any interest in him. The girl in the red dress also did not gain any advantage, as she was sent flying by the powerful killing intent. A blood groove that was nearly a foot long cut across her chest diagonally, directly cutting open her undergarment. Fortunately, this guy also knew that after being seriously injured, he was simply not Ning Cheng's opponent. After calling out, he did not have any companions to support him, so he could only dejectedly heal himself. Bang! After a muffled sound, the cultivator who had just rushed to the stone door seemed to have been pushed out by something. The killing intent restriction on the stone door once again reverted to its original state. At this time everyone discovered that the cultivator who had just been sent flying by the killing intent restriction on the stone door, had already been smashed into several pieces. It was only at this time that the broken pieces started to bleed. Ning Cheng did not even have the interest to scold him. This Sua Hongxian said that he was deceiving him. Wasn't it the same as saying that the girl in the red dress was deceiving him? With this kind of worrying IQ and that pretty boy cultivator called Wu Shu fighting over the girl in the red dress, Ning Cheng felt that this guy was very pitiful. Ning Cheng very skillfully carried Meng Jingxiu on his back, while using a belt to secure Meng Jingxiu in place. This time the girl in the red dress did not have a time limit. She stood in front of the stone door for more than half an hour. Her sword intent was constantly colliding with the killing intent restriction on the stone door. Hearing that he could once again participate, Sua Hongxian patted his chest and said that there would definitely be no problem. After Ning Cheng and Meng Jingwen entered the door of the killing intent restriction, the rich spiritual qi in the air almost made the two of them want to stay in this place and go into seclusion to cultivate. The place where the two of them were standing was a circular room. Looking around, they simply could not see any passageways. Wu Shu simply did not care about himself, and quickly fell to the side of the girl in the red dress, and simultaneously took out a pill and anxiously said, Junior Apprentice Sister Gulan, there is a healing pill inside. How's your injury? All the people around them were speechless as they shook their heads. This guy was obviously tricked by his companions. Moreover, the woman he liked did not even remind him. As such, he could not figure out who to hate. Seeing Ning Cheng's skillful movements, Meng Jingxiu suddenly asked, Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, do you often carry people on your back? After more than half an hour, the girl in the red dress with a pale face once again pointed to a place and said, It's here, attack. Ning Cheng also discovered this problem. His reaction speed was simply not something that Meng Jingxiu could compare to, as he immediately pulled Meng Jingxiu into his arms. Meng Jingxiu had not yet reacted, when she felt her whole body become light, as a feeling of dizziness washed over her. Ning Cheng subconsciously shuddered. Just what was this place? It was just like the description of the underworld. Was this ancient immortal mansion really such a gloomy place? In this kind of terrifying place, if he had not hugged Meng Jingxiu a moment ago, then with Meng Jingxiu's strength, if she was teleported to this kind of place, then it would definitely be a dead end for her. She could not even stand straight. However, she quickly recovered her calm, and turned to the male cultivator companion who was not injured and said, Senior Apprentice Brother Wu, I will use my sword intent to resist the killing intent in this place. You just have to pay attention to the loosening of the killing intent restriction. Once there is a loosening, I will immediately remind you, and you will immediately act. As for this guy saying that he had deceived him, Ning Cheng also understood the meaning behind this guy's words. He had used his axe to split open the restriction of the cave, but this Sua Hongxian had also used his axe to split open the same place, and as a result was seriously injured by the backlash, and had almost lost his life. This guy did not dare to blame the girl in the red dress, but unexpectedly said that he had deceived him. Ning Cheng once again stood in front of the stone door. There were many cultivators who came to sell their tickets, but there were very few who could really come up with 50,000 high-grade spirit stones. In addition to the 8 people from before, there were only 2 other cultivators who could come up with something worth 50,000 spirit stones to Ning Cheng. Meng Jingxiu was a true condensation cultivator, moreover she was also a true condensation cultivator with a very strong comprehension ability. In this kind of situation, how could she not know that she and Ning Cheng had been teleported away by the same transmission array? Ning Cheng hugged her, because he did not want to be teleported away. Wu Shu was just about to speak, when he heard the girl in the red dress nod her head and say, "That's fine, Hong Xian is injured, so we can follow senior apprentice brother Wu's position to attack." At this moment he was standing in a radius of less than a foot, it was just enough for a person to stand on it. The blue bricks under his feet were surrounded by deep black holes that he could not even see clearly. Ning Cheng's body swayed, and almost rushed forward a few steps due to inertia. Or rather, if he had not been aware of his position, he would have already rushed forward a few steps. Wu Shu simply said, "Yes, junior apprentice Sister Gulan, you can definitely open the restriction on the stone door." Ning Cheng had already experienced opening the stone door twice, and this time he was able to easily break open the stone door. The moment the stone door opened, the 2 cultivators who had taken out their spirit stones quickly rushed through the stone door, but not waiting for Meng Jingxiu to rush through the stone door, a figure suddenly rushed over from the side. He unexpectedly wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to enter the immortal cave. Ning Cheng's reaction was very fast. As if he did not see the cultivator rushing towards him, he moved his palm slightly to the side. "Junior apprentice Sister Jingxiu, go in." Ning Cheng called out to Meng Jingxiu in a deep voice. The red-robed young girl called Gulan glanced at the cultivator who had fallen to the ground, and her eyes flashed with a trace of fear. All the people present sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Attacking this killing intent restriction was not something that had never happened before. Moreover, the number of people who had died was not small. But most of the cultivators were hit by the backlash of the killing intent, and then a clear killing intent scar would appear on their bodies. But this cultivator in front of them was directly broken into several pieces. It was something that had never happened before. The red-robed young girl's eyes flashed with a trace of sadness, as she shook her head and said, "There is no need to try, I am not able to break this killing intent restriction." "If you can break this restriction, then you should have already entered the immortal cave." "If I had known that it would be like this, then it would have been better to." Wu Shu and Zhua Hongxian almost simultaneously brought out their magical weapons and attacked the place that the red-robed young girl had pointed at. A burst of terrifying axe intent blasted out, completely swallowing up the red-robed young girl's sword intent. The formidable axe intent directly blasted the 3 people away, without even the slightest delay. This seemingly endless black hole not only could not be swept to the bottom with one's spiritual consciousness, but it was also emitting a kind of gloomy killing intent. This kind of killing intent gave Ning Cheng a feeling that once he fell into this deep ravine, then he would die without a doubt, even his bones would not be left behind. The red-robed young girl could also see that Ning Cheng's prestige in this place was not low. As such, after occupying the time it took for an incense stick to burn, she did not dare to continue to occupy the stone door. Although she was sure that as long as she was given enough time, she would be able to open the restriction on the stone door. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.